Well, guys, the final regular season game before postseason play begins, and this is a date that has been circled on West Forsyth's head coach.
For high school football. He's Evan. I'm Mark. Hey.
Well, guys, the final regular season game before postseason play begins, and this is a date that has been circled on West Forsyth's head coach Kevin Wallace's bulletin board in his office since January of this year. He told me this week that he still remembers it being 28-17 with a minute and 31 seconds to go in the third quarter, an outright conference championship title on the line, and they lose last year to East. So his team coming in tonight, thinking of that, are going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. And now East Forsyth head coach Todd Willard has a great relationship with Kevin Wallace. They talk almost every day in just talking shop, but tonight the game faces are on because he knows that they're going to come into the nest and try to set them off of their rhythm. So he wants his team to be composed tonight in order to get a win and move on to phase 3 of the season, guys.
Welcome to Kernersville, North Carolina. What a dynamic matchup in the CPC. West Forsyth, East Forsyth. League title implications, playoff seeding, and an absolute battle. Two programs that have a ton of history in the Central Piedmont Conference. It's senior night, and that means we're handing out rings and we're handing out trophies here on My 48 for our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Rivals Game of the Week. Thanks for joining us here from Fred Lewis Stadium with the former Catawba offensive lineman Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. East Forsyth's had the better of West the last 3 years in this rivalry. What makes this matchup so unique?
Well, this year it's going to be the dynamic matchups that each team presents. You have a passing attack here at East that's led by the best quarterback in the state. That's Bryce Baker. Phenomenal athlete, great throw over the football. But he's going to have to, and this offense and this defense, this entire East Forsyth team has to match the physicality that West Forsyth is going to bring. The Titans coming here with intentions to come out of here with a tie for that conference title tonight. Great one here in Week 10.
Not only a battle for the league title, but a unique rivalry between these programs, and Hannah Brady explains more.
Well, guys, the final regular season game before postseason play begins, and this is a date that has been circled on West Forsyth's head coach Kevin Wallace's bulletin board in his office since January of this year. He told me this week that he still remembers it being 28-17 with 1:31 seconds to go in the third quarter, an outright conference championship title on the line, and they lose last year to East. So his team coming in tonight, thinking of that, are going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. And now East Forsyth head coach Todd Willard has a great relationship with Kevin Wallace. They talk almost every day in just talking shop, but tonight the game faces are on because he knows that they're going to come into the nest and try to set them off of their rhythm. So he wants his team to be composed tonight in order to get a win and move on to phase 3 of the season, guys.
Hannah, dynamic matchup, best passing team, best rushing team in the state. Welcome back to East Forsyth High School. Dynamic matchup for the CPC League title. Here's a look at tonight's Skywatch weather game forecast from our chief meteorologist, Jonathan Went. And football weather's on tap tonight, Mark.
Absolutely gorgeous here in the first official day of November. A little warmer, but that's okay. We got a great matchup here tonight. Great weather for it. Should be a good one.
Let's dive right in to our players to watch. And Mark, early on, it's a battle defensively here with Eldridge for West Forsyth.
Well, I hope you like beef, Evan, because we brought it here tonight. Turtle, as the guys call him, the eldest Eldridge here on this roster. Big dynamic playmaker, a force along that defensive front. Really great when we saw him in week 1 against Oak Grove. He's going to have a huge performance here tonight. And then there's the heat-seeking missile on East Forsyth sideline, Nathan Stewart. An absolute ball hawk along that back line of linebackers. He's going to be paramount here for the success of East on defense tonight.
Not only key players defensively, Mark, but keys to this matchup. What's the biggest key for West Forsyth?
It's limiting those big plays. You got to limit the explosiveness of this offense through the air, get them off the field, and then have efficiency on their own end. This is an offense that doesn't throw the ball particularly well, at least statistically. They've got to be at least good here tonight to offset some of that pressure on the run game. East Forsyth containing that aforementioned run game for West. They're going to bring a physical mindset to this game and then be the aggressor. It's going to be about attacking, getting back there, and disrupting that offense.
Let's get this league title tilt going in Kernersville. Costa Dupuis to kick this bad boy away, and we're underway. A fun rivalry here in the Triad, East versus West. Patrick Starr be happy with it, as there's a return from the 1. East Forsyth on its senior night gets out to the 20, and that's where Bryce Baker, the #1 quarterback recruit in the state, gets started. 28 touchdowns to 2 picks. What makes Bryce special?
Well, the future Tar Heel has an arsenal of weapons for him to throw to, so dynamic offensively. But his understanding for the game has grown from the beginning of last year all the way up until now tremendously, and he's shown it each and every week.
Baker, the most efficient quarterback in the state, 68 career touchdown passes. And he's won this rivalry the last 3 years, East versus West. Tonight, though, it's a league title on the line. An offense that has rolled its last 3 games, 49 points against Glenn. And here's the first play from scrimmage. A handoff. Nice pursuit. And they wait. Yep, they do rule him down. The run there for Cannon Rottweiler, just to gain a 1 and a late whistle.
Very late whistle. Looked like Eldridge was able to pierce through that offensive line, get into the backfield, and bring Rottweiler down before he squeaked out of there. But a late whistle, didn't really know if he had been down intentionally, but finds his way to the ground.
This is an active defensive line. Keith Taylor anchors it with Daviel Eldridge. We mentioned Big Turtle and Cale Vest. Those are 3 gigantic human beings, all 280 plus. Baker on 2nd and 9. There was some movement. Officials let him play. Baker, the deep shot over the head of Blair, incomplete. And there's the Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. You mentioned receivers. J.P. Gilchrist III. He's got 800 yards this year. Jai Richburg, NC State offers. And then Kendall Sawyer, 3 touchdowns. That's a great group outside.
Sawyer's starting to come on a little bit, but Jai Richburg is the next guy here at East Forsyth. The junior has been phenomenal this year since taking over midway through the season last year.
Baker's thrown touchdowns to 8 receivers this year. That's NFL-type efficiency. We see Aaron Rodgers last night dice up the Houston Texans.
Right, and his accuracy's been so good. That near 80% completion percentage has been massive.
Here's a 3rd down. Good pressure. Baker to run. Not just the arm, but the legs of Baker. Down the sideline. Whoa, Baker near the 30. A dual athlete threat, the Carolina commit.
Well, what did Kevin Wallace, head coach of West Forsyth, tell us this week? What hurt them last year in this matchup was the fact that Bryce does not take off and run a ton, but he did in that game and shows off the wheels here. Huge 3rd down conversion into plus territory.
That's a Crescent Ford first down. Ride the game in style with the new F-150 from Crescent Ford to High Point. Baker had 380 yards last year in that game. He feeds the tailback. Blair is loose. Makes a cut. Blair outside. Touchdown. 4-play drive, 80 yards in the blink of an eye.
We can talk about this passing attack for East all night long until we are blue in the face. The difference this year for the Eagles has been that rushing attack. It has been the consistency of what they have brought to the field. At first, it's Bryce Baker in the backfield, and then Corey Blair, the dynamic playmaker, new to this offense this season, gets into the open field. Great blocking down the field, allows him to get in.
The extra point from Cressamore is good. And a great start for East Forsyth. A touchdown on 4 plays and a 33-yard score for Corey Blair.
Offense, again, that is so good passing the ball. You have to respect it. opens up the field, spreads these defenders out, and allows those running lanes to open up. The offensive line has done a great job moving bodies up front all year long, and the running backs have capitalized because of it.
And no team hotter in the CPC than East and West. They both have won 6 straight coming in. East, of course, undefeated. But West bounced back from a loss out Mount Tabor in the league opener. And that's the third team waiting in the wings here. It could be a 3-way tiebreaker if West wins tonight.
And West has been, kind of like you said, Evan, they've been hot here lately as well. They lose that game to Tabor. The week after, they lose at home against Weddington, arguably the top team in the state at the 4A level. But then they reel off 5 in a row. And they've done a really good job of not just scoring and getting points in bunches, but being the more aggressive team, being the more physical team. They're going to have to do that here tonight. Now it starts on this drive offensively to set that tone and get back in this one.
Here's Braden Cressamore, who has Division I offers and 49 touchbacks as a kicker. Is this lucky number 50? Oh, you bet. Athletes all over the pitch. And now West Forsyth, led by a transfer quarterback itself, Riley Horton, who played at nearby Parkland last year. He's now figured it out late in his senior season.
And you just saw Bryce Baker have that long run on 3rd down. Riley Horton's greatest asset is his ability to run and simply a threat he poses to take off and get yards down the field on the ground.
So Riley Horton, the junior QB, last 3 weeks, over 150 yards in each game. He has thrived down the stretch. Here's West's first play, quarterback design run, and that's a part of this offense as Horton gains 1. The Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup, Winston-Salem's original fried chicken that's not greasy. Always remember the running back tandem of Blevins and Darrell Page. That's a dynamic backfield.
It sure is. Blevins so physical, his straight line speed impressive to watch, and Page a rushing threat as well. It's an offense that runs the football, but they found some receiving threats too on the outside.
This year alone, 7 yards a carry for West. That's the best in the Central Piedmont Conference. Here's Darrell Page in motion. Oh, good keeper. Horton makes a man miss, and Horton is just shy of the sticks. He'll gain 6. And we talked to Kevin Wallace, head coach. He said the running ability of Horton could be the difference in this game.
And we noted when we saw them earlier this year, this felt like a really good match for each other. East or West Forsyth and Riley Horton, a quarterback who runs well, runs with patience. Very good for this offense.
The anchors of this Mountain Fried Chicken defense, Brian Godfrey with double-digit sacks, and Nathan Stewart, the all-conference linebacker. Good players at both levels. Horton faces a 3rd and 2.
The question is here, do they put the ball in the air or do they stick to the ground? Sets a tone here early on depending on what they do here.
Horton runs it, and he's tripped up. Horton short of the sticks. And the first man in, Keymore Pouncey, the senior D lineman.
Well, we got to think, trying to feel each other out here a little bit, you got to think that East is going to try to bring a little more pressure. They're going to have more intention with trying to stop this ground game of West tonight because they know that's what they do and that's how they get everything going offensively. They do it here. All that pressure up front, the bodies around the line of scrimmage. Riley just does not get down the field because there are too many Eagles in the area, and they bring him to a stop.
That's 4 runs for Horton on this first series. He's held in check. And the punter, Max Williamson, who has a 50-yard boot this year, but no men back for East. Williamson, the rugby-style kick. Does earn some field position, dropping down at the 32-yard line. Well, you couldn't beat the opening drive if you're Bryce Baker. Find a man in Blair and let him go to work.
It's just so unusual. You see him miss a pass straight over the middle on realistically an open receiver down the pipe and just missed him over the top with Blair. Makes up for it for a long 3rd down run, and then Blair finishes the drive off on the ground himself in the very next play.
Bryce Baker celebrating his senior night with over 70 career touchdowns through the air and on the ground. Quick toss, pump fake, and he's brought down. Good sack. Keith Taylor, the junior D lineman, is 5th of the year.
Good pursuit, good discipline by Taylor on top of that. Defense did not bite. Gets him up in the air for a second, try to knock that screen pass down. Baker decides to eat it. Taylor's the beneficiary of it.
And D coordinator Will Billingsley noted this week, eye discipline when you play quarterback. How does that matter on a D line?
Well, you got to watch what he's doing, right? See where the quarterback's eyes are, and they move you to him. Now, that's where the next step in Bryce Baker's development comes.
making those second-level plays. Here's play action. Baker with more pressure, and he gets it off. It's picked! Interception, Horton going the other way. Pick 6, West Forsyth. Keith Taylor, how do you do?
Are you kidding me? The mistake by Bryce Baker, not just eating the sack there, but still trying to make a play, get out to Rottweiler. And Keith Taylor gets a sack on one play and then a behind-the-helmet catch. The interception and the wherewithal to get it back down the field. What a turn of events and a defensive masterpiece in 2 plays by Keith Taylor.
House call for Taylor, and the first defensive touchdown of the year for West. No better time like the present. And it's blocked! That's a dead ball in high school, unfortunately for East. And it keeps it a 1-point game. Hey, how about this start to the first quarter? Keith Taylor, meet Bryce Baker. Advantage Taylor. We'll step aside. Fun first quarter resumes when we come back to Kernersville, North Carolina. Stream live on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Novant Health helping us out. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care at Novant Health. And that road stand, West, they've lost 3 straight in the series, but what a turn with the pick 6.
Just unbelievable. Keith Taylor's had himself a night in 2 plays. Back-to-back, gets a sack on Bryce Baker, and then capitalizes on an ill-advised escape throw, just trying to get out to his running back by Baker. Reaches behind the running back's helmet, snares it, and runs it all the way back.
One of the better high school plays you're going to see across the country.
Unreal.
Keith Taylor joining the party, and now Dupuy sends it away. Here's Jai Richburg working that sideline. Richburg turns around, beats a man, breaks a tackle. Richburg still moving into West territory, but there is a flag, and let's see. This might be coming back, Mark.
Richburg just trying to get through the traffic in the middle of the field, breaks back outside.
Here's Marcus Elliott, our lead ref tonight. Oh, and a block in the back will negate the run. We talked to Todd Willard this week about penalties. They've averaged double-digit penalties a game. That's important to clean up this time of year.
They've got to. In a pivotal matchup like this, not just tonight, but beyond tonight, we start going into postseason play. This will be the last game for each of these teams before having the off week next week for them, while other teams on the western side of the state try to catch up. But penalties have to be eliminated, at least contained here tonight and managed.
Only the 3rd pick for Baker all year. It came in the most efficient quarterback in the state. First down, little confusion on the handoff, and Jalen Murray gets 2 yards. I love the effort from West Forsyth starting defense tonight.
Big physical defense, especially up front. We've already seen Keith Taylor make his handful of plays. Talked about Daviel Eldridge in the open too. Cuthrell Keaton as well along that front, as well as Cale Vest. A big defensive line, very physical at the point of attack.
That D-line nicknamed Juicy and Turtle. They can certainly play.
Yep.
And then the speedster Taylor with the pick 6 a moment ago. Baker on 2nd and long, play action. has some time and finds J.P. Gilchrist for the first down to the 40.
J.P. Gilchrist is a guy who changed positions, comes over to that wide receiver spot, and he's excelled getting out there. Coach Willard talked to us about how he has done such a great job making that transition. It's been a commitment to his work ethic. It's resulted in a strong senior season.
Back on the ground. And a good stop. You noted the Mountain Fried Chicken starting defense. Nicholas Goodrum, the anchor in the middle. He replaces an all-state player, Caleb David, a year ago, top 10 in the state. Goodrum anchors a good linebacking group.
And you got to think, Goodrum filling those shoes. Caleb David was a man in the middle of that defense of the Titans. Goodrum comes in, handles his own, directs traffic well. Good communicator at that linebacker spot.
Leads to a gain of 5. Here's a toss. And no room to break the tackle. Jalen Murray stopped after a gain of 1. How does the pursuit play a factor for West tonight?
It's going to have to be big because this East offense does use a good amount of motion. So they're going to bring guys across the formation, try to get some eye candy, see if they can see what the coverage the defense is in, allow themselves to work there. The pursuit has to be strong.
Back on the ground, Rottweiler is dragged backwards. I don't know if he got it. One ref says yes, one says no, and they'll give him the first.
Really close right there. Got spun around at the end of play.
Oh, my goodness.
Grabbed by the jersey that time. Almost looked like he may have been grabbed by the face mask initially.
Juicy is grabbing his literal shoulder.
And I'm wondering if he got across while he was being slung around there initially. Good effort by Rottweiler to keep those legs churning.
Literal third down tough run. Back to Rottweiler. And again, Juicy is grabbing him and pulling him down. That's like a bull in a china shop. Good luck against Cutthroat Keenan.
I mean, back-to-back plays, just copy and paste it.
Remember when Ndamukong Suh at Nebraska was pushing Texas around the Big 12 title game? That's what we're seeing tonight.
That's what it looks like. Cutthroat Keenan, big man. You can see it on your screen. This is a man, you're going to be called juicy. You better have some weight behind you.
He's 360, listed. He looks more like 4 Bills, putting a lot of pressure. Baker goes short. There's a completion, and Murray has the first.
Really good understanding that time between Baker and Murray. Just communicating, seeing what each other saw. Coverage backs off, you find a soft spot in that zone. Murray sits down, Baker finds him. Really nice job just communicating non-verbally and making a play happen.
4th different receiver for Baker tonight. Here's a quick run. Murray's turning his feet down inside the 30. He'll get to the 26. Jalen Murray last week, 120 yards, 3 touchdowns. This kid's explosive all over the field.
He sure is, and this is an offense that can hit you in so many different directions. For the last several years, running the football has really fallen on what the quarterback does with his legs throughout the course of a game. This year, it's been running backs, and they've set the tone.
Back to Rottweiler, who literally looks like a pit bull. This kid is fighting for yards. He'll get 3 for the first. While his fellow tailback, Corey Blair, was playing without his gear. Watch Blair 0 there.
Just going through, trying to get a block somewhere in there. But Rottweiler, not a big guy. Even when you're on the field and you see it on your TV, not a dude who's physically imposing. But he runs the ball hard, and he runs it with intention.
7th play of the drive for East. Baker working with his OC, Ron Horton, who's the former Parkland head coach. Now 10 years running this East offense, and we got a whistle and a timeout. So West will talk things over. We'll take the timeout here. When we come back, the top-rated quarterback in the state facing a red zone opportunity. We'll step aside for our My 48 game of the week when we return. There's head coach Kevin Wallace, 15-year legend Adrian Snow. He's replacing, and now in year 2, second place in the league last year, has a chance for the league title. You really like how this guy works with his players and staff.
It's just so nice to hear a guy who communicates, and when you're talking to him, he doesn't refer to his players by their names. If they have a nickname, he goes by that. It's a guy who cares a lot about his roster.
Baker out of the timeout, elects to keep, and a late hit. Oh, hold on. No personal foul there on the tackle from DBL Eldridge.
A little bit of gray area there.
You know, in the college game, that's a 15-yard penalty.
Right, and they're usually pretty sharp to call that one.
Okay, no helmet to helmet.
Right, no helmet to helmet, and really right there, you're looking at Eldridge. He goes and dives, but that's right around the same time that Baker's trying to take off and slide. So it's kind of a gray area there. I like the no call there by this officiating crew.
Baker does run 5 yards of carry coming in. Now on 2nd and 5, back to Blair. Blair gets past 1, stays on his feet, and inside the red zone, now inside the 10 for the Crescent Ford first down.
Corey Blair was not with this football team when the season started. Comes in halfway through, well, not halfway through, but a little bit towards the beginning of the year.
He moved from Georgia to play for the last 2 months.
And is the cousin of Jadon Blair,
the All-State All-American from Mount Tabor.
Commit to Notre Dame as well. He's been a revelation in this backfield as well.
Back to Blair. Blair stays powering through. Second touchdown. It's the Corey Blair show here in this league title bout.
When we saw East Forsyth a few weeks back against Mount Tabor, it was the straight line speed and the tough running ability of Corey Blair that shone through on that evening in an East Forsyth victory. Tonight, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for number 0 in blue and gray.
Extra point here from Cressamore. Really good hold on the high snap. And it's 14-6. Blair's a tough man to stop.
Works to the middle of that defense. Great job blocking up front. And again, the size of Blair allows him to run behind those shoulder pads a little bit more. Demonstrates it there, keeps his balance, and gets into the end zone for his second tutty of the night.
Jadon Blair and crew. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we understand the happiness of your loved ones is important to their overall wellness. Last year, it was Bryce Baker throwing for 350 in this matchup. Tonight, Mark, 11 on the ground for East Forsyth.
So many of those yards came in the second half. Had to come back, down 11 in the third quarter. End up winning by 10 in that football game, clinching a conference title. But that's been the difference, Evan. This rushing attack all year long with the running backs has offset this great passing attack. It's allowed Bryce Baker to sit back there more comfortably, survey the field, because they don't have defenders constantly focused on him. They have to respect that ground game, and it's shown through on the first 2 series of the night tonight.
We have a pick 6 and 2 touchdowns. A lot of drives for East Forsyth. And West finally gets the football after going 3 and out to open the game. What do you feel about the running heavy of Riley Horton tonight?
Well, there was 3 straight runs by Horton on that first possession, came up about a yard or 2 short. So where's the other rushing attack come into play? It falls on C.J. Blevins, number 10, guy who has great straight line speed, very tough runner. You and I talk a lot about Cayman Chaplin being here before.
Cool.
Reminds us a lot of what he brought to the table, too.
Chaplin was a 3,000-yard rusher at West.
And Blevins is going to have to be close to that skill set and that skill level here tonight.
There's Blevins next to his quarterback, Horton. There's a deep shot. 1v1. Hunter Cruz has it. This kid is electric downfield. 30 yards to catch.
What did Kevin Wallace tell us about the passing and how it's progressed for Riley Horton? Standing back there in the pocket, understanding his landmarks and matchups. You get a one-on-one on the outside with your best receiver. And, boy, he's a cruise missile down the sideline, getting down there. Hunter Cruz, a big play threat waiting to happen.
25 catches for Cruz. He'll average 30 yards a grab. That's explosive. Horton into East Territory, rolls out. Quarterback design bootleg, and there's Page. Nice cut, and Darrell Page gets 18 yards. The way they use Page in different spots makes him special.
And the way that they are moving Horton there makes that play happen. Getting him outside the pocket, the defense knows they have to respect the way he runs the football, brings them up closer to the line of scrimmage, reads his first man down low, doesn't see it there with Cruz.
Here's the tailback, Blevins. Breaks 1, and Blevins will earn 3 yards. We see some helmets coming off now. So West Forsyth will exit. Here's a penalty. Jalen Morris lost the noggin.
That was a late flag, well after the play was over.
And there was a tussle there with Godfrey, the defensive tackle. Let's see.
Heated rivalry.
Oh, and it's on East, pulling that helmet mark, which you can't give away 15 free yards.
When you're going up against a guy like C.J. Blevins, you got to do everything in your power to bring him down. Sometimes that means taking those 15. But when you got a strong runner, you saw Blevins moving those legs, just churning out yards after contact. You've got to bring him down, and it's more than likely never going to be just one guy. You got to get multiple defenders to where number 10 in white and yellow is. 2
penalties, 50 yards as we enter the Cook Reynolds red zone. Horton finds Page. Good hole. Down to the 7. And a nice run on first down.
Number 10 on the carry. Brought down by Nathan Stewart.
This rushing attack starting to get it going now, but those passing yards at the beginning of this drive have opened that up. The defense has to back up a little bit. It allows this offensive line to go to work. Big on big. Bob, as you hear the acronym. They're moving bodies right now.
Horton 50 yards passing, 10 yards rushing. He's led the show on this drive.
Cruz one-on-one on the bottom of your screen.
2nd and 2. Play action. Horton, end zone, incomplete. Through the hands of Jalen Moore, and they had him.
It's a guy who's got 4 touchdowns this year. 23 catches coming into this game, so he is not an unknown commodity within this offense. Horton puts that ball right where it's got to be. Good poise. Oh, sliding over. I mean, that is perfect. You've got to catch that football.
And they say at the young level that ground can dislodge the football. That might have cost more there.
Those are the plays as East or West Forsyth in this game that you have to make against such a talented team at home against East Forsyth.
Here's a 3rd and goal. Keeper. He's short. It wasn't goal. My apologies. So there's the first down. It's 1st and goal coming up.
Go back to your bread and butter. Just running at the point of attack. Horton, a no-nonsense run that time. Reads the defense. Sees where his offensive line's gotten pushed. Sticks his nose in there.
Horton. Another QB run. He's hit hard and short. Kenyon Smith got there first, and the ball comes out. There's a Marion Hayes, the UNC signee. Looks like they rule him down just inside the 2.
Hayes, a big body within that defensive front. Already talked about Keenan on the other side. Hayes, the same enforcer up front, takes a couple blockers to get him out of the picture.
That's a mean 350.
They're going to need him, especially down here in these goal-to-go situations, a run-heavy offense. He's got to be strong at the point of attack and allow the other defenders around him to eat up the rest of those blocks and bring down ball carriers.
So we go to the 2nd quarter here in Kernersville. 2nd and goal coming up when we return. Can Riley Horton punch this bad boy in? We'll find out after this timeout. East versus West. It's a running show so far on my 48. Here's tonight's winning row. Everybody in the row received free tickets to ice skate at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. The Fairgrounds Arena, your one-stop shop for entertainment and ice skating. Mark, you ready to tango this Christmas?
Are we tangoing on the ice or off of it? Because that makes a big difference in my answer.
We'll find our rhythm as West Forsyth heads into the red zone out of this second quarter. Horton goes to his tailback, Page, and there's no room there. Marion Hayes stuffs it, loss of one.
I guess I just don't love having Page in there at that spot running the football. Here in goal to go, even on second and goal, you got to have your big bodies in there. That means it's C.J. Blevenstein. If you're handing off to a running back every single time inside the 5, it's got to be number 10.
Blevins remains out, so Page is in. A pick 6 has been the offense for West Forsyth. First sustained drive.
Look to pass here. This defense has to be ready.
3rd and goal. Horton rolls. Fires. Incomplete. But we do have a flag. That was in the end zone, so let's see.
It's right around the center of the formation, too. I can't imagine it was an ineligible man down the field. All the linemen looked like they were back.
Marcus Elliott decrypting this call. Oh, defensive holding. That'll be in the high school level, it's not automatic first, but it moves at half the distance.
And it still keeps it on 3rd and goal as well. So they'll replay the down here.
Does that change the mindset here if you're West?
I think so. And now especially with C.J. Blevins back in the game next to Riley Horton in the backfield, look for him to take this rock and push his way in.
3rd and goal. Horton straight up the guts. Touchdown! Riley Horton transferred for games like this, and he has a chance to tie it.
Doesn't give it to Blevins. Instead, he becomes the lead blocker. Horton follows him right into the hole. Capitalizes in a big way, and just like that, it is a 2-point ball game. What an answer by this West offense.
Wasn't sure if he got in, but that extra effort pushes Horton through. And now Costa Dupuis. And Dupuis has it. How about watching all across the world tonight on YouTube and Facebook? Novant Health. And mark the touchdown from Horton.
And Blevins, lead blocker, gets up on Nathan Stewart. Right
the
there.
hand reached out.
And pushed that. Look at that. Great shot by our camera crew. Just getting that football across. If you're going to be stood up, reach it over the line. All it's got to do is go across the plane of the goal line.
The awareness from Horton, too.
Great job knowing where you are on the field, stretching that football out and putting it in for 6.
How about awareness? Go to Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. Kevin Wallace and Todd Willard talking to the officials. Todd doesn't like that holding on 3rd down and set up the touchdown.
And it was actually a really good play call for a couple different reasons by West Forsyth. Obviously, you get your quarterback who's so mobile on the edge. Give him that option to either put it in the end zone or if it feels like he can get it on with his legs to do that. But it puts pressure on the defense because a lot of those routes then come across the formation. Defense has to get a hand on somebody. That time a little too aggressive.
Todd Willard, 2-time state champ here at East, 2018, 2019. And maybe their best team since. Right now ranked 3rd in the state. West Forsyth just outside the top 10, but a win could change that. And here's Dupuis. Good kick into the end zone. That's where East will start at the 20. For East Forsyth, they get the win tonight, the outright league title, and that 3rd seed in the state with Weddington and Grimsley. What an important week for the East Forsyth Eagles.
Well, it's huge for them and huge on the other side as well. Neither one of these teams realistically has to worry about not hosting a home playoff game in round 1. But for West right now, you have the possibility, you come out of here with a win, maybe you have a home game week 2, maybe even week 3 at that point. Big stakes here tonight in Kernersville.
And the number 1 quarterback in the state goes to work. Only his 3rd pick of the year back in the 1st, but here he is audibling the play. Baker pointing out the blitz. He's seen a future college star. Little play action. Baker deep shot. Nice catch. And a first down to J.P. Gilchrist. For more on Bryce Baker, how about Hannah Brady?
Well, guys, we talk about Bryce Baker being a dual sport athlete, and we've seen him using his speed. He scored over 1,000 career points for the Eagles men's basketball team, and it's having that extra background that he feels like helps set him apart from other players. He says he feels like he's more elusive and is in better condition to be more dynamic under pressure. Graduating in December, he won't be playing basketball this season as he'll be heading to UNC Chapel Hill in the spring, guys.
So there's a completion. Moving it forward, we'll check on Hannah's mic with Jalen Murray there to move the chains. Good plays back to back. Turns out you guys heard her. We just didn't, so my apologies. Everyone else heard her. I know your hit was special, Hannah. I believe you.
Good anticipation.
Oh, we have a man down now. Arlington Key is on the turf. Oh, hold on a second here. Looks like Key may need some help from the training staff. Mike Pennington, the athletic director, with his athletic training staff, with Lindsay and crew leading the way.
Yep. But those last two throws, Evan, talked about pointing out protection, figuring out where the blitz was coming from along that West Forsyth defense, and then making not just accurate throws, but those timing throws down the field. 2 plays ago, hits Gilchrist along that far sideline. By the time that football was in the air, Gilchrist wasn't even out of his break fully yet. So that's just anticipating where he's going to be at. Excellent job. And a swing pass, just nice, easy completion out on the edge. And it looked like he may have taken a cleat to the midsection.
Oh. That's a story you'll tell your kids about, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's hope Arlington Key's okay. A little deep breath. He's back on his feet. Todd Willard, who's the winningest head coach here at East Forsyth, he's got a talented offense, scoring 63 touchdowns this year. That's the final movement and a 5-yard penalty. Now that's been the bugaboo for East this year with the penalties.
Well, it's been the bugaboo really for East for the last couple of years. It's having that discipline to make sure the mental side of the game is not the one that surpasses them, but it's been those kind of penalties, the procedural ones, holdings, illegal formations, false starts, things of that nature, that for an already explosive offense has held them back even more.
Averaging 11 penalties a game. We saw East in a 1-touchdown game against Mount Tabor, over 100 yards of penalties, still pulled out the win. Baker with a quick toss. Corey Blair gets a block, and Blair is shoved out. That's a completion and a penalty at the end of the play.
Flag came out towards the end of that run. I think it's either going to be in an area of a holding or a face mask potentially on West.
And that's what J.P. Gilchrist, he's pointing the other way. So he sees what you see. This 5-man officiating crew led by Marcus Elliott tonight. There's the face mask you talked about.
Just by the timing when that flag was thrown, it just seemed like that was the case. Blair gets on the edge. See a little grab right there along that west sideline. Good call by this officiating crew. Blair took a little bit of a lick there on the end as well.
That's Vanderlei Baldwin on the face mask. Back to Blair, who's held up on first down. Good stop by Cale Vest and company.
What a job up front, though, so far for this Eagles offense. This offensive line is opening holes against a defense that's big, physical.
Not just opening holes, opening laces.
Yeah, knocking shoes off of people. Wrong guy.
And there's Blair getting his kicks back on. Yep, guess he's got to come out for a play.
Started wondering, I didn't know that John Cena played for East Forsyth.
No shoes, no problem. We've actually seen on my 48 a touchdown without a shoe this year from Mount Tabor.
We have.
All comes full circle.
Against East Forsyth at that.
How about the next level ability? Baker continues to audible plays, making things happen. Here's a play action. Baker goes short, finds Murray. Murray has the first down. And that's what makes Bryce Baker special. He can read the defense.
He sure can. Just getting out there, those easy throws, but it's the adjustments, Evan, that you noted at the line of scrimmage before the play. That communication means everything. And if you can get everyone on the same page offensively, it does wonders for how you can move the football when you have that second level understanding. Bryce Baker now to the sideline.
How about this? Baker out. Jalen Murray in at quarterback. Murray, who was the Wildcat quarterback coming into the week. Let's see how they utilize him here. Murray stretches outside, finds a hole. Murray bangs into one and gets 9 yards. This was a wrinkle of the offense. Todd Bullard said expect to see it from time to time.
And it's just so interesting that this offense is running the football so effectively right now. That defense of the Titans is usually so stout, so sound up front. This offensive line, this offensive front, they're doing an excellent job getting bodies off the line.
Back to Murray. Nowhere to go. And Murray's dragged down by Chance McMillan, our starting linebacker.
And that's what you want if you are West Forsyth. You see how the hole kind of opened up, but as soon as it did, there were 2 to 3 defenders just sitting there waiting.
They do rule it a first down, so it's first and goal.
That's where you want to be, though, defensively. If you can have those big bodies up front, occupy space, and let your linebackers and DBs come down and make plays, that's how this defense operates at its best. That's
a Riddle tractor first down. And here comes the All-American Bryce Baker. Feels like 2 different offenses with Murray running the Wildcat and the efficient Baker. Rottweiler, the tailback. Baker rolls, fires, touchdown! J.P. Gilchrist, the power 4 receiver, finds his UNC quarterback.
As easy as they come, executing up front. Not a pick, but that slight motion on the outside by Jair Richburg draws the defense in, creates some traffic, an easy release for Gilchrist along the edge. And that's as easy as it gets for Baker and company.
Here's Chris Moore. That time he knocks it through. Bryce Baker not only showing versatility, but he's found his 5th different receiver of the night. 8 plays, 80 yards. East back on the board here in Kernersville. Welcome back to Winston-Salem. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we do our best to make your loved ones feel like they're being taken care of by our family. Bryce Baker taking care of the football on that last drive for touchdown 29 of the year. And East Forsyth back up 8. Baker was a monster when these teams met last year. 385 total yards. And tonight, a little more balance for East, but a 1-touchdown lead.
I'm pretty sure any team that East Forsyth has played here the last 2 years will give you that testament of number 2 in blue being a monster. Game-winning drives, superstar throughout the game, blowouts, you name it. Bryce Baker's done it all.
That kick stays in play and returnable. Goodrum has a hole. Still turning bodies to the 35-yard line. Good return for Jamari Shepard.
How about that? Legs churning. Probably got first contact around 26-27. Keeps moving those legs, bodies, bringing that pile down the field. Great return because of it.
Well, as Shakira says, your hips don't lie, and Shepard kept the lower half moving. So Riley Horton, who is 2 for 3, 47 yards, back to work. He's had explosive plays tonight.
Can they sustain it on offense? Can those big plays in the passing game keep coming?
Horton feeds. Nice stop. Godfrey dives on top. Gain of 2 on the run from C.J. Blevins.
You want to know how hard it is to bring C.J. Blevins down? just running over a man the size of Brian Godfrey in the middle of that defense.
And Godfrey's 375.
That's impressive. Young man runs behind his shoulder pads. Never say die effort on that first contact.
Blevins remains in the backfield, 165 yards last week. Here's Page in motion. Keeper. Horton breaks one. Cuts back. Horton like Cam Newton for the Carolina Panthers back in 2015. Making a nice run up the sideline for the first.
Great play design, great execution up front. Watch Horton here. That motion from Page freezes the defender on the edge that time. Gets it out along the way. Whitney had to account for Page coming across. Opens up a hole on the left side of that defense. Horton makes them pay.
The power and the size that Horton runs with. This is so much like Cam Newton the Super Bowl year for the Panthers when he was the MVP. This is dominant running for Horton. Now a first down at midfield. Little play action. Combine the run with the arm strength. Horton deep. And a flag. Hunter Cruz draws the PI.
Already seen one deep shot and completion. Hunter Cruz here tonight. He's one-on-one. He has burners. He can get down the field in a hurry. And if you're going to prevent a touchdown, you take the 15. If you're going to get beat, not a bad idea.
At the high school level, you're right. Not a spot foul, but just a 15-yarder.
It's a 15-yarder. Horton understanding the landmarks. You see one-on-one with your best guy on the outside, you got to give him a chance. And the ball was uncatchable there to some because he was being held back. Good execution again by West Forsyth.
Hunter Cruz, who last year was the JV starting receiver, didn't get a lick of varsity time. Now he's the second-ranked receiver in the CPC behind Gilchrist.
You got to think Jai Richburg is on that offense as well, another stud.
Snook Peterkin over at Mount Tabor.
Yep.
Back on the ground. And look how hard Blevins is running, but he's got nowhere to go. Eaten up like an Uncrustables by Godfrey and Hayes.
5 different defenders.
Did you see in the NFL this week that they polled teams eating Uncrustables? And the Broncos would average like
$750 a week.
$750 a week for their football team.
Unbelievable.
They're $751.
It might be 750 pounds right there in the middle of that, trying to bring down one man. And still was on his feet by the end of the play.
Godfrey and Hayes have next-level offers. Blevins is a good tailback, but you're right. Good luck getting out of that sandwich.
Yeah. You like an Uncrustable?
I love anything PB&J. Thanks for joining us here in Kernersville. West back to work offensively. Horton scrambles. Deep shot. Cruz knocked away. Zion Pleasant saved a touchdown.
Really nice coverage on the back end of that play. Zion Pleasant putting a blanket over Hunter Cruz. Not able to get the completion there.
How about a snuggie?
I don't mind a snuggie. Either way, he's covered deep down the field. Pleasant gets that hand up in the air. Great job. Great defensive back play, watching the football in the air, locating it, and getting your mid up to knock it down.
Now, if Horton leads Cruz, that's probably a touchdown, though.
And that's the next step for Riley Horton, right? It's about finding out if you can get that ball up over the top, a little more air under it, a little more strength. Allow him to run underneath that football. Already saw it once in this drive. Pleasant got beat by Cruz along that west sideline.
Timeout, West Forsyth. Well, let's take that timeout. Halfway through this second quarter, West looks to strike back. It's a Compass Bowl here in Kernersville. Stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime report. This week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes, interviews with the coaches by Hannah, principals, and much more. The U.S. Army, be all that you can be. And how about this first half? East through the ground, West through the air. Different than what we expected, but it's paying off.
Yeah, role reversals, right? Talk about the physical mindset of West Forsyth, the passing attack of East. Well, East has been running the football well, and West has been throwing the football around a little bit, get some yards through the air.
Horton, 47 yards passing, faces 3rd and 11. East brings 4. Horton, time, finds a man. Jalen Moore cuts back. Moore is loose. Touchdown, West Forsyth. 3rd and the answer, it's Jalen Moore.
That's about as pretty a touchdown pass as you're going to find in the land. The protection up front by the offensive line, holding off all the defenders. Horton has as clean a pocket as he's seen all night. Delivers a strike over the middle, and then it's Moore taking it in, breaking one tackle, and obliterating this defense.
Jalen, like Britney Spears, says, gimme, gimme, gimme more. 40 yards on the score. And now a whistle before the extra point. That was her comeback era, not the OG Spears in the 90s.
The comeback. Post-shaven head.
So you get a couple extra yards here on the penalty. And now
offense is coming back out.
The big package comes in.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you when you start playing the math. Well, the penalty puts the ball at the 1 yard line.
Playing the game of where's the beef?
Arby's. And our friends at Mountain Fried Chicken.
Well, not really beef there.
So down 2. West was bound to go eventually. They go here on the penalty. Horton has Darrell Page, the tailback. Horton, QB run. He's in. Tie game. And the beef package has the saute special. Riley Horton runs it through.
There was no one on the right side of that line. A wide open, gaping hole in that defense. Let's talk about this touchdown pass really quick. That protection up front, masterclass. The pass over the middle, masterclass. The play call, masterclass. The broken tackle, running it in, masterclass. And then the two-pointer, no hesitation by Riley Horton.
It's not just Gordon Ramsay and Steph Curry in masterclass, the app. It's Riley Horton tonight.
This is not the West Forsyth of Lori Bates' day. This offense is moving down the field. They are getting points in bunches, yards in bunches, and it's been because of the development of that man right there, Riley Horton.
West Forsyth on a 6-game win streak. They get a win tonight, and it's a 3-way tie for the Central Piedmont title. And you know what's fun? The tiebreaker is based on drawing numbers out of a hat. It's literally coming down to luck and circumstance.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Literally. We'd ask, hey, do you pick heads? Do you pick tails? They're like, no, it's not a coin toss. It is picking 3 numbers out of a hat.
Yep. Asked him, do you at least get to pick your number so you feel good about something?
Well, if I'm East, I'm picking 2 for Bryce Baker.
And shoot, Wes is going to pick number 3 for Riley Horton. These quarterbacks
there we go.
right now.
And Mount Tabor's got Snook Peterkin, number 1.
They're putting on a show at the quarterback spot. Modern day football, eat your heart out. This has been a showdown of gunslingers here so far.
21 a pop and a low kick. Wicked bounce. Here's Blair. Or pardon me, Gilchrist breaks 1. Gilchrist still moving. And he gets to midfield. Nice return for East Forsyth.
Always kind of feels like East Forsyth is really good on that kickoff return unit, aren't they? Always get great returns, great field position, helps out this offense tremendously with scoring all those points that they do.
We'll give credit to James Studevant, the associate head coach and special teams coach. A decade here at East.
Man, oh man.
Mr. Efficient, Bryce Baker, 7 of 9, but a pick 6. Mixed in with a touchdown pass on his senior night. East will have a home playoff game, but the final regular season game for Baker, who's made multiple audibles today pre-snap. Play action. Baker slides up, moves out, There's a hold. Baker goes short. Gilchrist, hold on a second, cuts it back. Gilchrist inside the 20. Gilchrist touchdown. Now let's see if that holding stands.
That's going to be coming back.
Oh, now the students figured it out.
That one's going to be coming back.
We got some surrender cobras in the student section. What do you got for us, Marcus? Yep, that call will stand.
Yeah, I know the home fans here at East Forsyth aren't going to like it, but it was a pretty blatant hold right in the middle of the field. You can't have that kind of execution, such a big play to happen.
And the contrast in reactions is fantastic. The howling of boos and the clapping on the other side. Two schools separated by 15 minutes. And for some of us on the staff, I drove to West today thinking the game was at West. So I got the view, riding up 40.
It's worth noting that I've been past East to get to West today.
I went east to west to east. And I went a little north, too, on the way over from where I live in Fuquay Arena, North Carolina. Great night here in Kernersville. It's 1st and 20. Baker play action. Running out of time, and he's sacked. Daviel Eldridge turtle all over it. The Teenage Mutant kind.
Start thinking Leonardo, Raphael, doesn't matter, Michelangelo. He's been the guy along the edge all year long for this Titans defense, wrecking havoc. Does it here again. Good drop that time to get underneath the block.
The green Donatello in on the sack, and this Ninja Turtle's got 10 of them this year.
Brody Harrington's got a tough assignment on that side of the offensive line this night. Gives up one there, and that's the kind of effort that saved West Forsyth throughout this entire season.
Baker back to work, 2nd and forever. He's got to run it. Baker directs traffic. Oh, he was past the line of scrimmage. So disregard the completion there. Now remember, if any part of Baker's body's at the line, it's okay, but I'm not sure he was. His foot could be behind, the leg, the arm, anything.
It was awful close. Getting that pressure by Eldridge. Walking Harrington back, collapses the pocket, forces Bryce Baker to evacuate. Get out along the edge. And they're saying that's exactly what it was. He's past the line of scrimmage.
That's going to be a hard one at the high school level to overturn. You could challenge that in college and maybe take 100 looks at it. But no replay at high school level.
So it's a loss of down.
Great point. So 3rd and super long.
So when it looked like they were back, at least made up the penalty yardage from that holding call that negates a long touchdown. Pressure on a sack, and the pressure gets home again to force Baker out past the line of scrimmage.
What's in the playbook on 3rd and 31? Last week's game, we had Central Davidson pull a trick out of their bags on 3rd and 30. What does Bryce Baker have here? Baker rolls out. He goes short of the sticks. And Gilchrist into West territory. So now it's 4th and 9. You have some options.
And for how talented this offense is and for how good of a gambler, let's say, that Todd Willard is over the years and how much confidence he has, he's an aggressive head coach, likes to go for it in these spots, and that offense has not left the field yet.
You got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him. And Bryce Baker, he's not walking away without a chance here. Now the punt unit comes out. So West gets a stop, but the defense is confused. There's bodies going everywhere. Here's Corey Blair. Blair elects to punt. And a really good bounce for East. Drops it inside the 20. That's so fascinating when you have a Wildcat quarterback into punt. Like the mind games, you got to be thinking of everything.
And when we had East Forsyth earlier this year against Mount Tabor, Coach Willard told us, look, I give Gilchrist the freedom back there to either punt that football away or take off if he likes what he sees and feels like he can pick up the necessary yardage. That time, West stays home just enough. Watching that film forces the punt. And maybe a good decision by East, in all honesty, in such a crucial game here in the last week of the season. Play the field position.
It's a coming out party for Riley Horton tonight. 130 yards in the first half. Horton to run. Horton breaks another. Riley Horton going away. Gets a block. Horton, touchdown. House call. Oh, man, Riley Horton's putting West on his back tonight.
What a run. Riley Horton, have yourself a first half.
82 to the house.
The blocking up front, the maneuverability of Horton gets him outside, breaks one defender's ankles, and from there it is a foot race, along with Hunter Cruz throwing in a block down the field to secure the touchdown.
Extra point upcoming. Dupuis. That time hits it. Riley Horton, man, this kid's fun.
Good job blocking up front. Defense flows all the way to the right. Look at that, Horton.
Oh, Blair. Put him on skates.
Could not get him down in the open field. And crucial here, you don't see it on your screen, but Hunter Cruz was hustling the whole way down the field that time to throw a late block in and secure that touchdown. All the upsets over the year, all the anguish, all the heartbreak that these Titans have had to take at the hands of their hated rival in East Forsyth.
You throw in a playoff game, it's been 4 straight wins for East. And West, to go back pre-COVID, their last win, 2019. That's starting to smell something there.
And here's the challenge, because we had a similar score last year. There's 28-17 in the third quarter. East finds a way to get on a roll. They steal that one on the road in Clemens. So now what does this team learn from last year? What is different about this West Forsyth team? That leadership they have to know. Kevin Wallace has had it written on a board in his office for a year now. That score in the third quarter with a minute to go. But what a job by his Titans in the first half.
This is a rivalry built on respect, but there's a lot of history. Remember the year West last beat East. East won the state title in 19. What is looming here in the final minutes of the first half? And there's a pooch kick. Oh, wait, that's a live ball.
I don't know why.
I mean, you're getting really close there. Eldridge.
I don't know why he didn't try to go up and catch that football.
Because it went 10 yards.
Yes, that's a live football. That is a live football.
Oh.
That is a mistake by West Forsyth and their special teams.
And since the ball's past the 40, you get it out of bounds where it goes out. So from the 44-yard line, great field position for Bryce Baker. Nowhere to go and a stop. Again, it's Eldridge, who's one of 10 Eldridge siblings. One of the younger Cubs makes a play.
Worth noting that all of them have a first name that starts with the letter D.
And there's 2 more on the way. Fat Daddy and Fat Fat. A couple of linemen coming in the pipe.
Fat, you can't make it up, man.
Baker, another loss of yardage, so 2nd and 10. Time. Baker's short. Good catch, Murray. And Murray has the first for a gain of 13.
It's worth noting at this point, we still have not seen Jai Richburg show up on the stat sheet yet. It's the guy coming into tonight, the leading receiver amongst this team, both receptions and receiving yards. And he has yet to register a catch in this one so far. Leading the way has been Gilchrist, and that time, Murray.
So Baker rolls out. Nice escape. Baker with the legs, and he's banged out of bounds. Good gain on first down, 7 yards.
He gets away from Daviel Eldridge that time. Avoids the sack. Has already gotten to him once tonight. Gets around that time, but the fleet feet.
How do you use the clock here if you're East Forsyth?
Just keep working it a little bit. Again, this offense is so dynamic. They can strike from anywhere on the field at any time. So you just got to keep working the clock. You still have those 3 timeouts in your back pocket as well with 2 minutes left. You don't necessarily need to work the sidelines. You can still attack all parts of the field.
Baker on 2nd and short. Little play action. Pump fake. Baker needs help and throws it out of bounds. Stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime report. We'll talk with the coaches, principals, and more, including our Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes. The U.S. Army, be all that you can be. And Hannah's going to watch and ask about Riley Horton, because this kid's special.
Oh, absolutely.
And Bryce Baker's even more special. Two of the better quarterbacks in the state going to work.
Considerable amount of people watching this game here tonight. Certainly paying attention to it all across the state.
Two of the top 15 teams across any division in North Carolina. So Baker on 3rd down. Elects to run. Has to get to the sideline and dives. Does he get the first? No, they rule him short.
They stepped out of bounds along that sideline. Tried to stretch when he realized he was getting close. And now if you're East, what do you do just outside the 35? Working that sideline, gets over there.
Oh, yeah, right before he dove. So here's East on 4th down. Elected to punt on the previous drive. And we have a whistle. No timeout, but a whistle. Oh, so we're resetting the clock because of stepping out of bounds. And the world travels by carrier pigeon. We make it up to the press box to update the clock. No microphones for our officials tonight, so we apologize.
Even in the year 2024, nothing like word of mouth.
East electing to go for it. Baker changing the play before the snap. Play clock to 8. What can Baker dial up here? 4th and 3. Timeout, Kevin Wallace. And he cut that real tight.
A little bit of gamesmanship going on between Kevin Wallace and Bryce Baker that time. Seeing how that audible was going, wanting to know, hear a call, potentially letting it run all the way to the wire and then calling a timeout right before the snap.
And Baker's ability to dissect the defense and change the play, that's a coach on the field, and it makes it so hard for a defensive coordinator.
And that's the difference between what we've seen out of Bryce Baker last year and what we've seen out of Bryce Baker this year. It's been that next level understanding of the game. Okay, you can throw the football, you can get it to your receivers, you're really great at that, you're accurate, the whole 9 yards, right? What's the next step at that point? It's understanding everything outside of just throwing the football. How do you run an offense? How do you keep your composure? How do you get your guys in the right spots? How do you confuse the defense? Work them pre-snap, post-snap. Those are the next level things as he goes along, even through the rest of this season. And along the way in his collegiate career starting at UNC that are going to impact him going forward in a big way.
And for East Forsyth quarterback Bryce Baker, Jacob Criswell, the quarterback at UNC, he's had a tough freshman year. There's not to say he could come right in and bless Mac Brown and be the starter next year for Carolina and follow some huge footprints. Drake May, Mitch Trubisky, you name it. And here's the next generation of Bryce Baker. Back on the field here, 4th and 3. The UNC quarterback. Baker play action. Goes incomplete. And that hit the turf, so knocked down in the 4th down stop.
I'm trying to find Richburg for the first time tonight. Just cannot get it to him. And something we do not see very often, an errant pass by Bryce Baker. Sets back, no pressure, right there. Oh, it may have been tipped. It may have been tipped. That was Keith Taylor, who already has the pick 6.
A rare incompletion for Baker. He was 9-12. Okay, now Riley Horton with 1:28 to go, and he's been explosive.
No timeouts.
Horton, the Parkland transfer, staying in the league, runs it and only gets a yard. Good stop by linebacker Nathan Stewart.
And you wonder, by the way they're moving right now, how content Wes is with going into the half.
Nathan Stewart, who fills in for now Gardner-Webb linebacker R.J. Brown, who was excellent here a year ago.
I'm a little also confused that East isn't using any of their timeouts.
Horton goes short. First down, Hunter Cruz past the sticks, gain of 10.
Clock does stop when you get a first down inside the final 2 minutes of the first and second half.
So it'll start moving here as the refs get ready to go. West has got to hurry. Got the snap off. Horton. Good coverage, incomplete, wanted Cruz.
A dangerous throw that time. That's defense reading his eyes, reacting, and Horton doing exactly what his eyes were saying to that defense, trying to get it out to his biggest threat on the perimeter, throws into the near double coverage. Not a good decision.
He's a dude, playmaker with speed, 30 catches on the year.
This is the guy.
West
that
is
wide receiver.
Probably 20 yards from field goal range for Dupuis. Back on the ground. Blevins, there's field goal range. And Blevins chopped down to the 30. Nice run.
Horton trying to get those guys back up to the line of scrimmage. Either to spike the ball or run the play, but an explosive run gets him inside field goal territory potentially. What a job by the offensive line, and Blevins following his lead blockers down the field.
Back to Horton, and a whistle. Oh, a false start.
It's almost a little interesting that they were really, the offense, it seemed like as a whole, was back up there before.
And in high school, there's no 10-second runoff.
Right.
Just to be clear. So still 30 seconds, but the clock starts moving. Horton just out of field goal range. Home run ball. Hunter Cruz touchdown. 35-yard bomb, and Cruz is loose.
Who's this quarterback spinning the football for West Forsyth tonight? Riley Horton, who has completed 49% of his passes coming into this game on the year. Over 9 games. And we're talking about a kid who's got 4 touchdowns here in the first half, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. You knew the rushing attack was going to be there. But my goodness, the passing threat of the Titans tonight has responded in a huge way.
Kevin Wallace said this week, Horton has learned to find the intermediate ball and the deep ball the last 4 weeks. That was a pretty 40-yard toss.
You ain't kidding. Understanding how to progress through throws, move the defense, take your shots when they are needed, and he has done that finally here in the first half.
Dupuis. That time he hits it. It's a 2-score game. This is East Forsyth's largest deficit of the year.
Protection holds up just long enough. Horton gets that ball away, and it is right into the awaiting hands of Hunter Cruz. This matchup has been golden all year long for West Forsyth. It strikes yet again. And Evan, I'm going to tell you, man, there's not a lot of people that had a 14-point lead going into halftime for West Forsyth in this one.
How about 64 yards in 70 seconds? West going down the field. They're not the traditional big play offense, but they're making it tonight.
And maybe that's what's kind of surprised East here tonight. Taking those deep shots, getting it down the field with accuracy at that. And we talked all week long, we thought, well, East has the explosive offense. They've got to limit the plays if you're West Forsyth of what East does offensively in the passing game. And tonight the script is flipped. This West offense has taken shots and have largely connected on them.
The folks in Clemens must be going nuts right now.
I can tell you the folks from Clemens that are here tonight have been going nuts. It's been a party for them here in the first half.
This is a shocking first half score. And now with the penalty added on after the touchdown celebration. This is, you could get into field goal range here if you're East.
Again, those 3 timeouts, even with 18 seconds left, when you've got a guy the caliber of Bryce Baker throwing the pill back there, anything's possible.
Dupuis, the short kick. Touched at the 30 by Gilchrist. Oh, Gilchrist running out of time. And now 14 seconds left at the 42. You do have the timeouts if you're East, and an incredible arm in Bryce Baker. How do you pull off the Jaden Daniels moment here?
Well, again, this is now a case where even with those 14 seconds left, you have those 3 timeouts. You can attack all parts of the field. So the defense can't just key on the fact, well, we have to guard the sideline, keep them in the middle of the field. Bryce Baker's just got to find the open man, dial it up, and get it to him in a hurry down the field.
117 yards passing today for Baker. Look at Baker, literally directing everything. Final seconds of the half. Baker nearly picked. Good coverage. And that's Nicholas Goodrum, the linebacker.
How about Goodrum on the edge?
He got so far, I was like, wait, where's the DBs? No, that's Goodrum. That's going to stop.
That's an impressive play. Along that sideline, as a high school linebacker, you're defending someone out wide.
So 8 seconds, he can do what? One play to set up one more play?
It's got to be, again, anywhere it can be in the middle of the field. Just got to get to somebody.
Final 8 seconds. Baker, he's got to go. Baker finds Gilchrist with 1 second. And now you got a chance. You can use a timeout and call something up.
I believe they called him out of bounds. So get to the line here, see what the defense has going on. You expect them to be deep in a prevent.
It's a Riddle tractor first down, making tall grass short as Baker nearing 150 yards passing.
If you don't like what you see here, again, those 3 timeouts, you only need the one here, you can talk about it.
In comes Kendall Sawyer in at receiver, his first action. And now a timeout for East to talk it over. Remember, Sawyer had a game-winning score last year against West Forsyth. He was electric in that game. Murray and Gilchrist, these are some great receivers. If you want to go 40, you can do it with this group.
Certainly, and again, we haven't even heard Richburg's name here tonight, at least on the stat sheet for a reception. Last time he was held 0 for .5. Pretty odd.
Yeah,
but there's another receiver, Fred, that can really stretch the field, get down there, and he's a bigger body too.
Richburg's third in the state in receiving yards. This is not a guy you keep down very often. Ethan Driver actually leads the state, and he's in this same conference, the Central Piedmont down at Davie.
Saw him already once this year, an impressive young man at that.
Yeah, the wide receivers in this league, there are some next level. Peterkin, obviously Richburg and Driver. And then Hunter Cruz has said, don't wait about me.
Jadon Blair as well. We've seen him play receiver. He had an explosive game against Davie County a few weeks back. But Richburg 6'3" is built for a situation like this. A jump ball in the end zone on a Hail Mary attempt. He's right here at the bottom of your screen.
And there's Davier Eldridge, the lone man deep. Final play of the first half. Baker drawn up a miracle. Baker heaves. Incomplete. Wait. Flag. Pass interference. This half's not over.
Wonder who it's on, though, because it looked almost like Richburg pushed a little bit on the back end of that play.
It's on the defense. So you get 15 yards and another shot. Richburg, the intended target.
Got the guy he wanted to. Still somehow found his way one-on-one down the field.
Do you kick it here?
Tough call. And even at the high school level, even when you have great kickers, a longer field goal attempt, I think with an offense as good as this one, you're down 14. You start scoring some touchdowns here. I think you keep that offense on the field.
And Bryce Baker keeping himself in there. What a quarterback battle. Riley Horton 4 scores. Bryce Baker 2 scores.
Again, Richburg at the bottom of your screen. Murray, Sawyer, Gilchrist at the top.
West sends 3 into the end zone. One last chance. This is an untimed down. Baker needing help. Gets outside. Baker fires. Incomplete. Sawyer nearly had it, and we go to halftime.
I'm not sure what happened in the middle of that offensive line, but Cale Vest came running straight down the field at Bryce Baker, untouched. Forces Baker off his spot, forces him to choose the right side of the field, shrinks everything down. The defense Their job again gets easier from there, knocking it down the end zone. And how about a 2-score lead for West Forsyth on the road in Kernersville at the half?
This is a league title implication kind of game, and West well on its way with this first half start. How about Hannah Brady down with Coach Kevin Wallace?
Well, Coach, 4 touchdowns for Riley Horton. How have you liked the way your offense and your quarterback have responded this first half?
He stepped up. He's made some big throws, kind of like what we've seen progress over the last couple of weeks, and he's kept it going. We just got to keep it going in the next half. You know, we were up on them last year, 11 points, going into the minute 31. It was in on my board all year. So we know we got to come out and play a whole nother second half. It's a 0-0 game coming out.
You just said that you've been in this situation before. How do you hang on to this lead in the second half to close this out?
I think our kids are focused enough. They understand the importance. We were in this last year. We get a second chance at it this year.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more on the U.S. Army halftime report. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Throughout the 2024 Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals season, Tatum and Atkinson Law Firm will recognize an exceptional senior student-athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes are from East Forsyth High School, Jalen Murray. East Forsyth's Jalen Murray is a 3-time varsity football player and is the shooting guard for the varsity basketball team. He is a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, a 2-year honor roll student, and is in the top 150 of his class ranking. Jalen gives back to his community by reading to elementary students at Sedge Garden and assisting coaches for Little League football. And from West Forsyth High School, Chancellor McMillian Lewis. West Forsyth's Chancellor McMillian Lewis is a captain for the Titans football team and a regional placer on the wrestling team. He is a leader in the classroom as well as taking almost all honors and AP courses in his senior year. Chancellor is a part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at West Forsyth and plans to attend North Carolina A&T next fall to major in mechanical engineering. Jalen, Chancellor, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes of the Week. Sponsored by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck? Call the Heavy Hitters.
Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. Be all that you can be in the United States Army. I'm Hannah Brady, now joined alongside Rusty Hall, the principal for East Forsyth High School. Rusty, it's always a pleasure having you on the Halftime Report. I know before the game you guys were selling T-shirts like you're wearing right now for Western North Carolina. Will you just talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've got some beloved former teachers at East Forsyth High School that have moved to some high schools in Asheville, some high schools in Watauga, and just hearing their stories and still the needs that are out there for that part of our state, we felt like we should do something. And so we decided to have these shirts made up, and all the proceeds will go to those former teachers of ours, high schools in Western North Carolina. So between the shirts and the donations, our community has been awesome. We've walked through the car rider line every day this week, and have going to be able to send them some much needed resources.
Well, that's amazing. And also coming up is playoffs. What's the energy? What's the excitement like during East Forsyth playoff season?
It's exciting. It's you get to see a bit of the community here every Friday night. There's East Forsyth flags up across the Kernersville, and former players and former students come back, and everybody just really enjoys that feeling. And playoff season is a total different feeling, and it's exciting. Luckily, I don't have any hair, but that time of year I usually lose some more hair. So.
Well, thank you so much for spending a few moments with me on the U.S. Army Halftime Report. It's always a pleasure. Well, stay with us and don't go anywhere. We have a whole lot more coming for you in store right here on the U.S. Army Halftime Report. Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. I'm Hannah Brady, now joined alongside the West Forsyth Principal Ayanna Sutton Chaplain. Mrs. SC, as you like to go by now tonight, how do games like tonight help build community and school spirit for the students, the parents, and the local community?
Well, it allows students to connect with the local community. It allows our students to connect with each other. And like you said, it builds a sense of community and also school pride. And we're big on school pride at West Forsyth.
I love that. I love school pride. But also, as these athletes are out on the field, how does being in a sport like football help these students both physically, mentally, and personally?
Well, athletics, not just football, but it's just a good motivator for academics, for students. It builds personal growth, and it's also good for their social and emotional learning. And again, having been a part of a team, it just builds that sense of belonging that students need.
Now, I know you implemented a new cell phone policy this year at West. How has that helped with the culture and the overall classroom instruction this year?
Okay, so actually it's a district policy, and so it is a school-wide policy at West, and so we've seen a tremendous amount of increase in engagement, less social media concerns, and the teachers are happy, parents are happy, students not so happy, but they have admitted that they are not focused or distracted by social media and able to really dive into the academics.
Well, we certainly love it when the parents are happy and the teachers are happy. So, well, thank you so much for spending a few moments on the halftime report with me, Mrs. SC. Well, earlier this week, we had a chance to speak with one of our U.S. Army correspondents, Marcus Brown. Check it out.
My educational journey in the Army has been fantastic. So, receiving my undergraduate degree as well as my master's. My MOS is similar to UPS. If it fits, it ships. I'm a load station by trade. As a reservist, the Army will set you apart. You can learn skills and get certifications through the Army that you can use in your everyday occupation. So the healthcare perks are amazing. Absolutely no co-pays, so that's no money out of your pocket.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
Isaiah Hopewell to do the kick, but they fake it. They're going to have something good happen here. They throw it and complete it. Down the sideline. No flags. Touchdown, Judson Rockets.
Holy cow, look at the Judson sideline. They are going nuts. Don, I'm watching this play going. I'm going, come on, H.
He's sprinting down the first one. Now the second one.
Onside kick. And it goes right to Riverside. Harry Armstrong throwing out all the stops.
The pass rush has generally been three. Deep ball looking for Stewart, and Stewart brings it home inside the 40-yard line. That's good for 40.
Stewart will be a star at the college level and beyond.
Shoulder, look. Ostov, 230 pounds. Watch this right in here. Boom.
Going for two. Two unbeaten records on the line. Throws left side. It's caught. It's caught, and Ravenwood wins. And Ravenwood is 9-0.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
Well, the most important thing is for everyone 6 months and older to get their updated flu and COVID-19 shots as soon as possible. Those vaccines can really help you to stay healthy so you won't miss out on a family gathering or a day at work or a Friday night football game. And most importantly, these vaccines can help protect us from some of the serious health complications that can arise from flu or from COVID-19. For example, vaccines cut your risk of being hospitalized for flu or for COVID by about half. So both of these vaccines have been updated for the new flu and COVID-19 virus strains that we expect to be spreading throughout this fall and winter. These vaccines are safe and effective, and they're our best line of defense as we head into the fall and winter respiratory virus season. Let's take last year, for example. People who did get the updated COVID-19 vaccine were 54% less likely to get COVID-19 than people who didn't. And people who skipped their flu shot were twice as likely to need medical help for the flu. When we look at the data, it's clear that getting vaccinated makes a big difference.
MySpot.nc.gov is available as an online resource from your North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Check it out for the latest information about where to find flu and COVID-19 vaccines near you and opportunities for free vaccines. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. I'm Hannah Brady, and earlier this week we had the chance to speak with Lily Craven, the event and branding manager for the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. Check it out.
There are lots of ways to get involved on ice at the arena ice rink. Of course, we have public ice skating, which is a big hit in the winter months where you're holed up in the house. So we expect lots of crowds, especially after the holidays in the ice rink. There are lots of ways to play hockey. We've got adult leagues, youth leagues, and we play hockey, which is in collaboration with the city's Parks and Rec department. And youth can come play hockey and work on skills and play pickup games. So lots of fun ways, and that's all on our website. There are lots of events coming up at the fairgrounds this year and this winter. We're kicking off hockey season with the Carolina Thunderbirds opening weekend this weekend. So we've got a game tomorrow at 6:05. They're playing the Blue Ridge Bobcats. And then we've got Wake Forest Club Hockey. They have a tournament this weekend. Lots of teams are coming in. So all of the hockey schedules and all of the ice skating schedules can be found on our website at wsfairgrounds.com.
We got highlights. Yes, we do. We got highlights. Now you do too. And it starts with Corey Blair running away for 30-plus.
Just seemed like a night where the offense was going to have to get going on the ground for East Forsyth to get ahead in this football game. It does with a bang at the very start of the football game, but not to be outdone. Keith Taylor defensively gets an interception, possibly of the year in the state, to even us up before Corey Blair takes it in for his second tud of the night. And from there, it was the Riley Horton show.
Man, 4 TDs for Horton. That was a fun one, and he had 3 more later.
Just an unbelievable player making unbelievable plays back and forth. East goes down the field. And I mentioned another touchdown through the air. This time, Jalen Moore, the beneficiary, breaks one tackle and bursts into the end zone. And from there, it was all West. A half that really seemed like it was going to be dominated by the East offense early on. West finds a way to stymie them on defense. And the explosive plays were aplenty in the first half for West. Capitalized at the end of the half by this scoring grab.
Hunter Cruz made it a 2-score game. The penalties for East played a factor in a couple scoring drives, but the numbers nearly identical.
Just incredible first half by both offenses, really. But West comes out. They had to set the tone early on. It's an aggressive football team, a physical, tough football team, as they always have been through the years. But tonight, it's been the flair. It's been the big plays through the air, on the ground, whole way around, and suddenly East Forsyth at home, down 14 points, has some work to do here in the third quarter.
That's a 29-point quarter for West Forsyth, and Hannah Brady ready down the sidelines.
Well, Coach, you told me earlier this week that this game rests on your defense. What was your message to them at the half?
Well, we got to make some plays. Obviously, we made no plays, not even a speed bump, so we're trying to make some adjustments, and hopefully it'll work in the second half.
How do you get your offense into the red zone in the second half?
Yeah, we just got to get the rhythm right. We didn't get in a good rhythm offensively. We got to come out and make some plays, and hopefully our adjustments at half work.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And we hope you enjoy.
Todd Willard, who said, hey, these weeks are kind of stressful as a coach, knowing a league title's on the line. But, Hannah, thanks for doing that interview. We'll step aside for a minute and get all set for the second half. West versus East, 2-score lead at the break. Welcome back to Kernersville, North Carolina. Just getting ready for the third quarter here in a second. Mark West has been in this spot before, we noted in the first half. How do they close this game out in the second half?
Well, it's got to be having that killer mentality. Again, this was a team that last year in this very same game at home held a 28-17 lead in the third quarter with about a minute or so left and ended up giving that one away, losing 45-35. So the game is far from over. And that sideline, those seniors, those guys that were on the team last year understand that. So how do you close it out? Play the same tough, tenacious defense you did in the first half and really get that running game going, even just on a driving basis. It doesn't have to be the massive explosive plays. If it is, great. But if you can sustain drives, get the running game going, keep the ball away from Bryce Baker and that East Forsyth offense, you will help yourself out with securing a massive win in the final week of the regular season.
And with a win, West 1, they'll host a playoff game. 2, it could come down to a draw of the hat to win the league title. And if you win the league in the CPC based on RPI, you're probably getting a top 5 or 6 seed in the tournament.
Great spot to be in. They did their job in the first half. Now can they seal the deal? Could not do it 1 year ago against these East Forsyth Eagles at home. Can they nab a massive victory and a pretty big upset, even for a team that's also top 15 in the state on the road here in Kernersville tonight?
And the red-hot West Forsyth Titans, they get the football to start the second half. It's been 4 long years since West has beaten East. And the second straight time we battle for a league title. Cressamore sends it away. And the second half begins with a touchback. Riley Horton is a dual threat. 130 passing, 110 rushing. Sometimes in high school you have those one guys take over. It's been the Riley Horton night.
Incredible night. And a guy that has gotten better over the year, but especially here in the last couple weeks, has caught fire. And tonight, first half, 4 touchdowns, 2 on the ground. Not surprising. 2 through the air, a little more surprising. The placement of the football in the air has been there tonight for Riley Horton. Showed off his cannon in the first half. Now he has to be able to carry that over and sustain it.
Last 3 weeks, 9 touchdowns for Horton. He's cooking as of late. Start of the second half, it's Blevins on the ground. Oh, and Blevins gets a big hole, 8 yards on first down.
You'd love to say you didn't see nearly enough of C.J. Blevins in the first half, but he did a really great job playing his role, blocking down the field for Horton or potentially receivers, and doing what he could with the rock when he got it. Now first carry of the second half to open everything up. Does a nice job penetrating through the heart of that defense and getting great yardage on first.
Blevins averaging 8 yards a carry. He's that secondary back. Him and Page have been electric. Horton on second down. The counter. Nice run. Another 8-yard gash. What is this offensive line doing to move the pile?
Well, it's them pushing at the point of attack, moving those bodies back, and changing the line of scrimmage. The other thing that's helping them out is simply the impact that Riley Horton had on the game through the first half. Defense has to account for him. They're looking at him. It's taking an extra body or two to make that sacrifice. And right now, C.J. Blevins is eating in the middle of that defense and getting it done.
And Blevins came in averaging 8 yards a carry. Horton at 13 yards a rush. This is a hard offense to stop on the ground. They're at 300 total yards.
If they're going on offense and they're running the football, it's a hard team to beat.
Fresh set of downs. Blevins breaks the tackle. Blevins nearing the 50. He'll get the first gain of 10. And a missed tackle there from Tristan McQueen, the linebacker, who remains down. Nope, Tristan's okay after the Crescent Ford first down.
So how about that? 3 runs on 3 plays to open up the first half. All to C.J. Blevins. That's 2 first downs now. They are moving the ball, and they're running it right at that large defensive front of East Forsyth.
When these teams met last year, West ran it for 275, but couldn't stop Bryce Baker. Tonight they've done that. And a 2-score lead for the Titans.
It was a heavy dose of Kamen Chaplin a year ago. Hard to stop him on any night, no matter how successful you want to be.
And now a delay a game possibly. Yep, that's a 5-yard penalty.
Nathan Stewart, you saw him in the middle of your screen, was going nuts. Watch the play clock. Very smart to alert the officials.
That's an all-Central Piedmont Conference caliber linebacker, the senior. He's really smart.
Very smart. Very football smart. Knows what's going on the field. A guy who sees everything that goes on around him and in front of him. When you're filling the shoes of a guy like R.J. Brown, you've got to be a big, smart, talented, and physical linebacker. It's exactly what Nathan Stewart is.
Brown now plays at Gardner-Webb at the FCS level. Here's Stewart anchoring this defense. 80 tackles. Quarterback keeps. Horton gets a block, and Horton pushes his way out. I love the blocking tonight from Jalen Moore and these slot receivers.
They're getting it done on the edge, and it's giving guys like Riley Horton an opportunity to excel and get into the open field and use those talented legs of theirs. Great job pulling that football out, reading the defense as they come down to where C.J. Blevins is, pulls the football out, and he was out the gate.
So P.J. Dean, a talented 3-star lineman, he's down. And Dean getting help from the athletic training staff. Lindsay Chico-Scipio and her crew. Looks like PJ will be okay. He's a top 10 rated lineman in the state.
Solid. Nasty individual. I mean that in all the good ways. You talk about offensive linemen. If someone starts saying that you're a nasty individual, you play with bad intentions, it's exactly where you want to be. You want guys like that on your team who are going to maul people up front, get all the dirty work done so your skill players can shine.
And think of West Forsyth. The last 10 years, give this coaching staff credit. In the last 4 years, they've had 10 offensive linemen play at the next level. Dean is certainly in line.
Well, you see, I mean, you look at their size, even from up here in the booth. It's a sizable offensive line. One of the bigger ones, if not the biggest one we see all year.
Page in motion behind this big O-line. Horton follows them, and a nice run for Horton. Hannah Moore on this West offense.
confidence, not go through the motions and demand more from this offense. And on the sidelines, he's been taking charge, using his voice, and also we're seeing him lead with his legs a little bit here, guys.
Yeah, this offensive line is really churning yards, and then Horton's got nearly 250. Great point, Hannah. Now working some clock, Horton. And we have a false start.
So had a false start on the last, what do you want to say, down and distance.
And you get to a 3-score game. That's a huge number if you're East Forsyth trailing.
Well, and it's not just that, but now we're talking about a drive that's already chewed up 3 minutes on the clock here in the second half. And right now, the way that that's going, they're going to get to close to, if they finish this drive, about 6 minutes. That's half the third quarter gone.
1st and 15. Blevins hit hard. Good stop by Chosen Him, my all Piedmont area name. Hallelujah.
Chosen Him.
That
Great
is his
stop.
real name.
He was the chosen one on that play. He makes a great stop in the middle of the formation. CJ Blevins usually so hard to bring down that first contact, but I can't believe I'm about to say this. Him stopped him in his tracks.
Sets up another great him. 2nd and 16. If it was 3rd and 16, I could say John 3:16 and tie it all together, but not this time.
Geez.
2nd and long. Horton runs it. He's had success here, but nowhere to go. And a flag in there as Robbie Whitney gets the stop. So let's wait on the whistle.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that's the first time we've called Robert Whitney's name tonight.
This is on West. You could take 3rd and 16, or I guess 2nd and even longer. They'll decline the penalty. I like that there. 3rd down and long instead.
Given where they are right now, even for a team that threw the ball as well as they did in the first half, it's not what West wants to do. It's not where they want to be within the grand scheme of things back that far deep. And quite frankly, throughout the course of the season, it's not what they've been built to handle. So now you put them in a position where they don't want to be in. They're not going to be very comfortable. You put the onus on them to pick up a long 3rd down.
West 3 of 4 tonight on 3rd. Horton with a blitz. Picked up. Horton breaks away. Backpedals. Oh, Horton do something special. Horton moving. Throws a bomb. Tipped again. Almost caught. Through the hands of the DB, Kenyon Smith.
Up and down the ebbs and flows of this game all in one play. Horton breaking out. The pursuit defensively by East Forsyth forces him back inside, but Horton almost Russell Wilson-like goes back out with the spoon move, and then it's a tough tip drill.
If Hunter Cruz catches that, that's West Forsyth's kind of night.
Yeah, at that point, yes.
And the fact East didn't pick that off with 2 different guys.
That's 3. 3 defenders were in that area.
Here's Max Williamson to punt. Jalen Murray to receive.
That was a hope and a prayer kind of throw by Riley Horton.
And the clock is expired for a 5-yard penalty. Three penalties on the drive for West.
And unfortunate for the Titans as well. Such a good-looking drive early on. The penalties just pile up, and they're not able to get back on schedule and pick up another fresh set of downs.
3rd punt. Oh, terrible snap. And a false start. Whoa. Now that saved something. Oh, man, let's see that again. I think West saved disaster.
How many times have you seen a false start help avoid disaster? Oh, yeah.
Oh, 9. Wow. Hey, if you're 99 there, Eldridge, that might have been the best play you made all night.
Yeah. It's a guy who already has a sack tonight as well.
You didn't expect the snap to go haywire.
No.
Well, that's the challenge here in high school football. Good pressure coming. And Williamson booms it away. And it dies around the 20. Good kick for Williamson. We'll step aside midway through this third quarter. East Forsyth, work to do, down 2 scores. Bryce Baker back to work when we come back. Tonight's game is also being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page by Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. And if you're the Nest here at East Forsyth, down 2 touchdowns, that's a rarity here at home. What an important drive for Bryce Baker.
Absolutely massive drive. Again, almost half the quarter gone on that drive alone from West Forsyth. First possession of the second half now for East.
Baker, 10 of 16 for 135 yards. And we've seen it all half. Baker is directing traffic between plays.
Changing it up, getting those calls in, communicating.
Feeds the running back, who slips the tackle. That's Blair. And Blair powers up the sideline, close to a first down.
It's one heck of an effort in the backfield by Corey Blair, breaking out of the tackle of Keith Taylor. Guy, interception, a sack tonight. That interception being a pick 6. So he's done it all here this evening for this defense of West Forsyth. But Corey Blair, too physical at the point of attack, breaks the tackle, sheds it, and gets outside to pick up a fresh set of downs.
If you're just joining us, Blair was in Georgia up until the end of August. He joined in week 4 and has been an impact running back since. Him and Cannon Rottweiler, the former JV captain, who's 5'6", 160. Play action. Baker on second and long. Nice deep route. Murray hangs on. Great catch to the 44.
That is a next level throw from Bryce Baker. Just getting the football down the field is one part of it. But where he put the football and allowing Murray to go get it is another. Watch here. He puts that football closer to the sideline. Murray works that way. That way the safety does not have enough time to get over there and make a play on that football. That is beautiful ball placement by the UNC commit.
If you're Mac Brown, you're smiling ear to ear watching that 26-yard completion. But an injured offensive lineman down for East after the play.
Now they're down 14. Unfamiliar territory for East Forsyth. But certainly if you are a fan of North Carolina University, we should say, you have a lot to be excited about when we're talking about this kid, Baker.
And if you're Chip Lindsey, the O coordinator, with a top-rated freshman coming in.
Seeing that skill set, and it's just the base. I mean, these kids go into college, and you have to take in so much more information at that point. Between a playbook, how you do things. A lot of the times, it goes from being a hobby at the high school level down to a job.
As we see Austin Fetterspiel get help. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. Hands-on compassionate care around the clock. Austin Fetterspiel, whose father is part of the coaching staff. Aaron, running back and O-line coach. Todd Willard noted the emotions of senior day with 2 of his players that have parents on staff. Right now, though, it's the home squad down 2 scores. Baker again changing up the play with 9 on the play clock. He's got to go. Oh, clock to 5. Let Baker cook. 2 seconds. And he goes short. That's Richburg. Big stiff arm. Whoa, Jai Richburg, the Thunder.
Hey, man, wide receivers aren't supposed to do that. Not on the edge. You don't just throw someone out the club like that and get away with it. But Jai Richburg finally on the stat sheet. his first catch of the night, and me, oh my, a la Derrick Henry on the edge.
Justin Ferguson took the end of that punch. Good completion there. Sawyer first down. He's dragged out. Good pursuit and a first down.
You see the offense now starting to get up to the line, running tempo here, getting this defense off balance. They get into a rhythm. This is where you see the best side of this Eagles offense. They find a rhythm, they get up to the line, they run plays.
Cade Lloyd on the stop, now in the red zone. Blair bounces. Blair slips away and escapes Keith Taylor for a gain of 7 there.
Good effort, good job by that offensive line, holding their blocks. Blair didn't see anything initially, doesn't get there, but because of those because the blocks held up as long as they did, he was able to squeak out back to the middle of the field and pick up some positive yards.
Baker on 2nd and 4 feeds Blair. Uh-oh, Turtle, he's ready to crunch. That's actually Cuthrell Keenan, juicy, who sizes up a stop.
Yeah, not gonna win many battles one-on-one. I'd be hard-pressed to find a single running back in the state, but a lot of times it's gonna take on Cuthrell Keenan one-on-one and win that battle.
Now 3rd and short after the stop from Keenan. Baker play action. He's pressured. Baker has Richburg picked off. Intercepted West. Wow, Goodrum, that great hands. Baker had 2 picks all year and 2 tonight.
Nicholas Goodrum was on the edge at the end of the first half covering a receiver and knocked the pass away. This time follows Bryce Baker across the field, watches his eyes, and sees him make that throw, steps right in front. That is next level linebacker play by Nicholas Goodrum. Just continues to follow Baker.
And I'm not sure Baker saw Richburg early in the route.
Because he was behind the play almost.
Which leads to a 2nd interception. He had 2 picks entering tonight, 2 more in this one. And look at West Forsyth. 2 touchdown dog coming into this game.
And this defense is playing lights out now.
And now up 2 scores with a league title on the line, at least a share of the title. Mount Tabor is winning tonight. They'll also be 6-1 in the league. And a whistle.
Yeah, false start, right?
6 penalties for West. That's a play Baker would love to have back.
And depending on how this drive goes, could be as important a play in this game as any other. There's 5.5 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Time is now going to start becoming more and more of a concern for that east sideline. You have a team that likes to run the ball like West does, drains the clock more. You've got to be careful with your possessions.
5 on the play clock. Horton goes inside. And not much on the ground. Gain of 1. Good pursuit from Cody Brown, the backup D lineman.
The defense is going to start looking for those runs. I know you want to work the clock. You're Kevin Wallace in that west sideline. You want to work the clock, but you also have to work your offense. Don't eliminate the threat that you had in the first half with those passing yards. Right? You got Hunter Cruz. Deep threat. Might be time for a shot.
Blevins stays in at tailback. Horton escapes. Takes his time. Horton jukes. Goes by Stewart. Horton again. And Stewart, great pursuit on the tackle. I love the play there of Nathan Stewart.
I just quartered Riley Horton. And initially, Horton won that battle by getting back inside. But Nathan Stewart and that high motor that he has does not give up on the play and ends up making it on the back end. Watch 44 right there. Loses contain, but does not stop. Gets back up and makes the play. It's incredible effort by Nathan Stewart.
Nathan Stewart, this kid needs to be playing college football somewhere next year. Good hands on the tackle.
5'10", 210. Good size for a linebacker, but he's smart. Plays with instinct.
3rd and 16. Horton, screen. Blevins, chopped down. And a good stop by Dominique Sheboy. Try saying that one 5 times fast.
Sheboy. He good. Great play in the open field, knocking down the screen. Blevins, a hard play to make. One-on-one in the open field. You've got to make that play. Sheboy gets those legs out from under Blevins. Great job.
Leading to a punt, and this is a tough field position for West. Murray's in West territory waiting for the punt. Williamson, he's got to get it off. It's blocked. The kick is tipped. And he scoops it up in the red zone. Wow, what a change.
Giveth and taketh away. Give up the pick. Take the ball back in plus territory with a blocked punt. Great response by East, getting off the field after the interception. And then the special teams come through in a massive way, just too long. Understanding you're in the shadow of your own goalpost, you've got to get that kick away.
That's Kimore Pouncey, the block, back on the ground. Nice hole. Rottweiler, touchdown. What a powering run from 20. And East is back within a score.
Got right down the field and ended that run, almost running like a pit bull into the end zone. Cannon Rottweiler doing his part, breaking tackles and lowering the boom before crossing the goal line.
There's an injured East player down, but Rottweiler living up to his breed.
You block the punt, you get it back, and then you leave it to one of your leading rushers on the team just bringing it at the end of that play.
And good to see Cooper getting up. Navar Cooper. He got landed on at the end of that play.
Yeah.
This training staff here at East, so helpful.
What a
Natalie High is the head trainer.
What a response. What a sequence of events. In a game with an absolutely bonkers first half. East driving, throws that pick, goes right back to West. It seems like the momentum shifts right back to them. A defensive stand and a block kick. And a touchdown run to follow. And we're back to a one-score game right now.
So coming up in the fourth quarter, stay tuned for tonight's Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Player of the Game. The Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, your one-stop shop for entertainment. Also in the fourth, tonight's My 48 Play of the Game. My 48 Sports, your home for local sports. And the Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. Get a great deal on your next Kubota at Linder Turf and Tractor. And the extra point, brought to you by the leg of Brady Cressamore. Good snap, good hold. And now a one-score game here late in the third. When we come back, final 3 minutes of this third quarter, East versus West. We got a ball game here in Kernersville.
Well, guys,
Head coach Todd Willard must be really happy with his Eagles right now. And talk about birds of a feather. Coach Willard, the coach of the Eagles, has a love for all birds. Originally from Wisconsin, he worked on a farm and always said he hated it because he had to get up so early and the work was a lot, but now he loves it. His wife, Katie, actually got him into raising chickens, and last year they had just about 4 chickens. Todd, Katie, Morgan, and Harper, named after him, his wife and his 2 kids, and now he told me that they're up to 30 chickens and 8 ducks. He even built his own chicken coop last year and said that it looks like their own little Hilton in the backyard, but when he's not coaching football and he's raising his chickens and ducks, bringing eggs to practice for the coaching staff, and he even brought us some eggs tonight, guys.
Hey, that duck looked fantastic. How about 194 wins and a farm at the Willard household here in Kernersville? Thanks, Anna, for that fun story. Right, like, what do you do when you're a coach when you're not busy prepping? He said, hey, I'm playing with my chickens.
Welcome to Kernersville, North Carolina, ladies and gentlemen. Birds of a feather flock together. This flock of eagles has now come together.
Yeah, he loves ducks, chickens, and eagles.
All
He
right,
said, I'm
we
a
got 'em all here.
big fowl guy.
Mountain fried chicken. Got some eagles on the field, some duck eggs up here.
And now a 7-point game. Riley Horton's offense has been stalled by penalty late in the third. And they caught the nest here at East Forsyth. 9-0, running the table so far in the league. Horton on first down. Blevins, good hole. Blevins, stiff arms, and gets half the yardage on first.
Just does not go down on that first contact. And if you're going to try to wrap him up, you got to get him down by his legs. Those arm tackles on the upper half of his body are not going to do the job. Breaks those tackles, gets through the contact, picks up great yardage on first down to C.J. Blevins.
Blevins had a big second half, 50 yards rushing in the second half.
Passing-wise, where has the attack gone here in the third quarter for West Forsyth?
Horton back on the ground, and Blevins is tripped. Great pursuit from Kimore Pouncey.
Because that attack is not there, this defense is starting to pin its ears back, and it's focusing squarely on Riley Horton and C.J. Blevins. That backfield has been everything here in the second half for West Forsyth. Those wide receivers have not had an opportunity to go get a football. The defense knows it. They're pinning their ears back and getting into the backfield.
The student section's rocking here at East. Pouncey with his 11th tackle for loss of the year, and here's 3rd and 5. Horton, quick toss, nice catch, and more. He's right at the sticks, and they rule him short.
A little short.
So 4th and 1 coming up.
He's so close, just trying to get it to the sticks.
Are you going for this here if you're West?
Are you feeling good about what your offensive line has done? I think so far, yes. It's a gamble. Inside your own 30, up by 7 now.
Oh,
this East crowd is chomping at the bit.
This is a league title decision here in the Central Piedmont Conference. And the play clock's under 10. Here's Horton. 4th down run. Horton has a block and the first. Wait, there's a flag. Hold on a second. Was P.J. Dean reaching? And there's Robbie Whitney down. Here's the call. Oh, defensive holding. That's first down.
How about that?
Look at that stunned crowd. Whoa.
What a play, what a job up front. Offensive line, you got to get pushed on 4th and 1. Bodies flying around. Riley Horton has to be able to navigate through that traffic. Does it? Gets great blocking at the point of attack and picks up the first down.
They have an injury timeout for Robbie Whitney, the senior defensive lineman. He has 12 sacks, but he's been held in check tonight. Really, there's been 1 sack for East. They haven't got a lot of pressure on Horton.
No, and that's been because 1 of his running ability, and 2, his offensive line has created pockets, and they have sustained them. We know the edge pressure that East loves to generate. Over time, they've had great edge rushers here that have put up great stats. Unreal, unheard of stats, really at the high school level. But tonight, they've been stymied. That offensive line has done a great job on getting out there, sustaining blocks, and allowing their guys to go to work.
So Cody Brown enters the D-line for Whitney. Final minute of this third quarter. Horton goes to Blevins. And he's following that left guard all night. Still pushing. A.J. McLeod and company gets 5 yards.
It does say something when, as a defense, or as an offense, I guess I should say, the defense knows what you're going to do. You don't care. You just continue to run, and you continue to do what you're doing, and you know you're great at. That's what West Forsyth is doing right now. They are riding on this running game right now to churn out yards and dwindle that clock down.
McLeod and Foster on the left side are really making a push. It's been hard for this defensive line of East. 2nd and 5.
I wonder if they run out the clock here in the third quarter.
West Forsyth 1 quarter away from a share of the league title. And when we come back, we'll move the football 2 yards and do it again. 12 final minutes to decide the Central Piedmont Conference. Welcome to the fourth quarter here in Kernersville. There's a league title on the line. If the results hold, Mount Tabor, West Forsyth, and East Forsyth would tie for the league title. And it would come down to drawing names out of a hat. Literally that close here in the Central Piedmont.
2024, you think we couldn't come up with a better method than drawing names out of a hat?
Well, it makes for a fun fourth quarter here in Kernersville. Riley Horton back to work where he has 250 total yards, dominant on the ground. Horton runs it again, and O'Marion Hayes spins him down. He has the UNC offer, and he's got a big body.
I'm sure they're loving that right now. North Carolina's got some hosses coming from this team here in Kernersville, North Carolina. O'Marion Hayes just slings down Riley Horton to the turf. Says, hello, how do you do? It's third down. Better buckle up because I'm coming for you again.
We got some big boys on the defensive line tonight, both teams.
We got big boys on both sides of the line. This is a game born for the trenches. Those guys are deciding the fate of this football game here in the fourth quarter.
Has the feel of a fourth-round playoff matchup. Instead, it's for the regular season title. Horton. Blevins dropped. Pouncey in the backfield. And he's counting his blessings after that TFL.
Nowhere to go. That edge pressure off the right side. Too many bodies get through. They overload the right side of that O-line. And Blevins had nowhere to go on that play. What a stand defensively by East Forsyth. They have tightened up here in the second half.
Only one first down in the second half for West. The offense has been stagnant. And now the punting game with Max Williamson. He does average top 30 in the state in total punting. He needs a good one here. Oh, rugby kick! Nearly blocked again. And that bounce will help Williamson as it dies right around the 18. Whew. And he kicked it for 37 yards.
Playing with fire. Second punt in a row. Just way too much time. You got to start wondering, why is he holding on to the football as long as he is?
And here's Bryce Baker, who's done this before on Friday Night Rivals. Overcame a 2-touchdown deficit to Mount Tabor last year and has led 4 game-winning drives here at East Forsyth. Baker, quick toss. And Jalen gets out of bounds after a gain of 3. Jalen Murray.
Saw it again, Evan, as you mentioned, the comeback win over Mount Tabor last year. The comeback win over Mount Tabor this year that we were there for as well. This is a man who has grown up living in the clutch on multiple occasions. He's been great when he's needed to be great.
Baker keeps it, cuts outside, dives back in, and gets 4 yards. So it's 3rd and 3 coming up.
Not a bigger third down defensively for West Forsyth in this game at this point. You need your guys to get back there and disrupt Bryce Baker. Got to think it's a passing down here. Where are your edge rushers going to be at?
200 total yards for Baker, facing his biggest third down. Rottweiler, no, quarterback. Nice run. Blair gets the first, and he's pounded after a gain of 10.
Love that play call. Really almost ends up being an extended run. That time, instead of being a straight-off run, the defense has to react to it. They put it in the hands of Baker, fakes it to Rottweiler, and goes right back outside to Blair. Very smart play call.
200 yards passing for Baker, who's thrown 2 picks tonight. He hands off to Rottweiler. Rottweiler, nice run, and he gets knocked out of bounds. That's a gain of 15, and Rottweiler's made a difference tonight, Mark.
Probably had the cleanest run he's had all night outside of the touchdown in the third quarter. Just gets around the edge and turns those shoulders upfield, turns on the afterburners.
And we have an injured West player who was standing on the sideline. He kind of got the side traffic. It wasn't Rottweiler who hit him, it was his own teammate.
In a game like this where you've just got players flying all over the place.
Add friendly fire to the bingo card, as that's the backup DB, Vanderlei Baldwin, who got knocked. He was like, well, I'm going to move a little farther from the sideline. Yeah. Good thing Vanderlei's okay.
Get down behind the play.
Daps up one of the ball kids. With how aggressive East has been this year, is this a 2-point opportunity? You go for 2 if you score a touchdown?
I think he's just still containing at 1. The way their defense is playing here in the second half, they've really bottled up that West Forsyth offense. So you got to trust them. Again, you have 9 minutes left in this football game. All your timeouts as well. That's not going to be a factor just yet. But you go down the field here, you score, your defense does its job, and your offense gets back out there. You got to feel pretty good about your chances.
East is moving the football, 24 first downs. And in the second half, fresh off a touchdown drive, looking to tie it. East is one of only 12 undefeated teams in the state. This is a huge game for 9-0 East Forsyth. West at 7-2, want to earn a tie for the league title. Baker swings it out in front of his target, Murray, and a little miscommunication there.
Yeah, Baker wanted that football to be out in front, rightfully so, trying to get your receiver on the run, have that momentum of him going forward. That time just not on the same page with Murray, backs up a little bit too much and doesn't go forward far enough by that time that football was out to him.
Murray, 35 receptions coming in. He's a Swiss Army knife for this East team. But now it's 2nd and 10.
Such a good player with the football in his hands, especially in space.
Both bands rocking, league title on the line. Inter-county rivalry. What a great night in Kernersville. 2nd and 10. And a play clock violation. Actually, a timeout, East instead.
Coach
We'll take the timeout.
Let them know, too. Got to take that timeout. But East is driving here into the 4th quarter to tie this one up here in Kernersville.
Welcome back to Kernersville. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health, hands-on compassionate care around the clock. Final quarter of the regular season for these two playoff-bound programs. But who wins the Central Piedmont? We find out over the next 9 minutes. Top-rated senior quarterback in the state, Bryce Baker, down a touchdown. And he's been cooking. 200 yards passing, 200 yards rushing. But it's the 4-touchdown game of Riley Horton playing spoiler. Baker on 2nd and 10. Pressure. Escapes it. Cutthroat missed. Baker scrambles. Baker runs. Baker escapes. Baker near the 20. What a play. He got 30.
At home, you're going to see him reset his feet and think he's looking to throw down the field. Had no intention of throwing that football when he set his feet. He was simply setting up Eldridge that time to get back down the field, break him down, and break contend move by the senior quarterback, Bryce Baker.
Season high in rushing, 75 yards for Baker. Typically the elite pocket passer.
It was his rushing ability last year that broke this Titan defense down.
Back on the ground, Blair literally dives forward. I think he jumped into the defender and gains a couple.
It's Cutthroat Keenan right there in the middle of all that.
Well, you're jumping into a pillow, but it hurts. Into the Cook Reynolds red zone.
I'd say less of a pillow, more of a boulder right in the middle of that defense. It's a large man. Space eater, occupier of blockers.
Here's 2nd and 7 in the red zone. Baker's been so good at this, reading the defense, changing plays. A future Carolina quarterback. Now with 5 on the clock. Quick toss. Blair has blocking. And Blair's pushed out. Good pursuit. And he might be right at the sticks. Vanderlei Baldwin got him. And they give him the first.
That pursuit coming across may have saved the touchdown, but does not save the first down. Coming in motion, Corey Blair gets that football with a head full of steam. Great play call, getting one of your better playmakers in space and allowing him to work.
Blair, 2 touchdowns on the ground tonight. Here's 1st and goal. Again. Not much there, maybe 2. 2nd down.
It's been 4 years since these Titans have taken down their crosstown rivals. Up by 7. The Eagles driving. You're now down at your own goal line. Make a stand here, up 7.
Wildcat. Diving inside the 5 goes Jalen Murray, so 3rd and goal. And Bryce Baker still not on the field.
Trying to play power football down here. Give West a taste of its own medicine. That physical brand of football just running straight ahead.
Murray in at quarterback. 3rd and goal. It's Murray. Cuts. Touchdown. Tie game. The Oxner and Permar touchdown can tie it with a kick.
It was the dynamic playmaking ability of Bryce Baker that gets them into this position. And then it's the power offense. That big offensive line of East Forsyth taking over, opening a hole, and Murray runs it in.
8th touchdown of the year for Murray. And here's an important extra point. Got it. Whew, that was close for Cressamore. And that's 35 a pop.
Big on big. It's big boy football at the goal line. Jalen Murray just gets right over the top.
And look at the next generation. Pumped up. East versus West. It matters here in Kernersville. That Glen-East rivalry is really big in Kernersville, but East and West, those have been the 2 best teams in this league the last 10 years.
It's nothing like this. There's that hatred between these teams. You mean it in a good way. There's respect on each side for each other's sidelines, but when you come into a rivalry like this where you just have that good old-fashioned hate between them, it goes through generations. It gets passed down from one roster to the next. And this edition in 2024 has not disappointed.
That was an 11-play, 82-yard drive in 3 minutes. And this is what you draw up as a kid growing up. Tie game, league title on the line, and West gets the football. Cressamore booms it. And West will have to go 80 yards. Not much offense here in the second half. How does West find it late, Mark?
Where's the passing game been? Since halftime, we have not seen it from West Forsyth. Riley Horton has gone quiet through the air. These receivers have not had an opportunity to go get the football. It's been them running the football, turning to a more conservative offense. That's not what got the Titans with a 14-point lead at halftime. They've got to get that passing game awake. Don't worry about the clock. Run your offense. Get back to what you were doing and what you did well in the first half.
This Central Piedmont Conference, the highest rated league in the state. 3 top 12 teams. Here's a battle for the league title. 1st and 10 with a trip set.
Numbers at the bottom of the screen.
Instead, a handoff with the numbers. Nice hole, and Blevins gets 5 on first. The running game's been the story for West. Now 215 yards rushing.
I guess I just don't understand, because it almost seems like you would want to give Riley Hort that option. Say, like, hey, if I got numbers in the box, I'm going to hand it off. But when you're 1-on-3 or 2-on-3 on the edge, you got to get it out there to your guys.
Horton on 2nd down, and another whistle. That's a false start. Penalties have been the bugaboo. That's 11 penalties for West.
You can't have things like that. Biggest moment of the game right now for your offense. You get a good gain on 1st down. Now you're backing it back up. You've got to get all those yards back on this play. You're wasting it down by moving it backwards.
Both teams penalty-ridden tonight. We noted last year West had a 2-score lead in the second half. East came back to win. Here's 2nd and 9. Horton pressured. Stewart has him. 2nd sack for Nathan Stewart.
All that momentum that West had has gone quiet and has shifted over to the home team. Their sideline is buzzing right now. It's been the smart plays of Nathan Stewart, the instinctive plays that have gotten them back in this football game. They are all around the football right now. Now 3rd and a mile for this Titans offense.
East is humming 4 second-half sacks. They had none in the first. Horton on 3rd and 17. 4-man rush. Horton running out of time. Horton escapes. Oh, what does he have here? Horton pushes forward. 1st down, Horton. Needed 17, gets 30.
Are you kidding me? Riley Horton, how did you escape? Houdini.
And we have cramping going on after the Riddle tractor first. Riley Horton, wow, with Jayla Moore down.
There were 4 to 5 East Forsyth defenders around Riley Horton at the back end of that play. But watch him navigate the pocket here. Break away from defenders, not 1 but 2. And then somehow gets away and picks up the first down. That is unbelievable.
Got 25 on that one on 3rd and 17. Man, Riley Horton has been asked to do a lot tonight. 130 yards rushing, 130 yards passing in his breakout game.
The 2 touchdowns on the ground, the 2 touchdowns through the air, all in the first half. The last couple weeks, something has clicked for Riley Horton, where he's taken off and become a different football player for this West Forsyth offense. And it's shown up big here tonight. And possibly the game's biggest moment. Now tied. No points yet here in the second half for this offense. And they get a conversion like that on 3rd and long on the ground on a scramble is massive.
Last West win over East, October 11th, 2019. That's basically 5+ years. That was a game West dominated on the ground. 300 yards rushing. That's been the story again tonight.
Well, you can easily say when West Forsyth dominates on the ground, they win that battle in yardage. More often than not, they're going to find themselves at least with a chance to win a football game. That is the case here tonight.
First down after the Horton run. Wants it again. Good blocking. And Horton jukes. He's got the first, gain of 10. Fumble! Loose football! East Forsyth is gone! Scoop and score! Solomon Brown, the hero in the 4th.
You've got to be kidding. When you're thinking, how does Riley Horton still make those moves in such a tight space? The one rule when you are in traffic around bodies like that is you have to cover the football up. Riley Horton doesn't do that, and it's back the other way, and what a turn of events.
A 50-yard scoop and score from Solomon Brown. 6th defensive touchdown for East this year. And Preston Moore knuckles one through. Mark, how about this effort to end the play?
I mean, Riley Horton's got this thing, and he's running down the field, just continuing to go, and just has the football. You see it all the way away from his body. He gets coughed up. That's an easy fumble, and East running back. The Eagles down 14. Tie it up, and they take the lead on the scoop and score here in Kernersville.
Solomon Brown, he needs some oxygen. What a run. He needs that inhaler and everything. 7th defensive touchdown for East this year. None better than Solomon Brown, 47.
I mean, you couldn't make up what we were just seeing. 3rd and 17, Riley Horton just goes down the field and makes a miraculous run to pick up a first down. The very next play, just dodging defenders in a phone booth. Has the ball just stuck out, gets popped out. Solomon Brown picks it up and goes the other way. And East Forsyth down 14 at halftime has clawed their way back to take the lead here in the 4th.
And West in the second half has not had the ball in East territory. Couple of turnovers. Brand new game. Cressimore. This might stay in play. From the 1. Page gets outside versus the kicker, and Page gets into East territory, and he almost was in the end zone.
Evan, I got to tell you, from up here, it looked like he was. It looked like that back foot was in the end zone. By rule, any part of the ball or player touches that goal line going in, it is a touchback and the play is dead.
New life for West. Darnell Page, huge return. Riley Horton off the fumble, back to work from the 46. Horton with time. Deep shot. He's got more. Caught. Touchdown, West. Second score for Jalen Moore.
You can't believe it. Momentum be darned. There's no momentum here. This is football, baby. And we're running up and down the field tonight. Another moon ball a la Russell Wilson.
They call Jalen Moore the deep threat guy.
Riley Horton, you are a wizard, brother. You caught the football up, and you're back.
5 touchdowns, and that extra point good. Costa Dupuis ties it.
The protection again up front stays there long enough to get that one away, and Moore beats that coverage like a drum.
There are 2 insane Jalen Moores in this state. One at High Point Christian, the running back, and one here at West Forsyth.
Yeah, we found the other one here tonight. He has been phenomenal. A long touchdown catch in the first half with a broken tackle in the middle of it. This time, it's straight line speed down the middle of the field.
6th score of the year for Moore, and it's a race to 50. Wow, and if you're West Forsyth, for 2 years in a row, you've lost a lead, and the resolve of Horton to go one play, boom.
Waited for it all second half. Waited for it all second half to see a passing play connect for this West offense. And when they finally have to have it down 7, they answer in a huge way.
By the way, Mount Tabor has just won. So now if West wins, it's a 3-way tie for the title. There's Costa Dupuis. Good kick. Returnable Richburg. Richburg bangs into bodies at the 30. That's where Bryce Baker starts. Couldn't have drawn a better script on senior night for Baker.
Man, oh man.
Reagan has also won tonight. So the top 4 in the CPC all guaranteed really good seeds in the state playoffs.
Reagan handily taking care of business at that.
44-0.
Well, Bryce Baker in this offense now, the onus is back on them. Switches back over. Can they continue to make plays? They've been hot here in the second half.
Baker, 200 yards passing. Down up a play with 8 on the play clock. Baker pump fake. Pressure. Baker elects to run and gets a couple. Man, that's like 4 different reads Baker makes.
It's this really smart play. It started out with great defense by West. They tried to get them with the pump and go. Really looked like Richburg sat down really quick. Defense doesn't bite. They stay back. So Baker has to bring that football down, then makes the right decision. Just get yards with your legs and get out of bounds.
What did Todd Willard say this week? These games are stressful. 42 a pop. Back on the ground, Blair. Slips 1 tackle. And keeps moving. He's short. 3rd and 3 coming up.
Man, these running backs are so tough, aren't they? Just don't go down. On first contact, second, third, it takes a host of defenders to get over there. A near army of Titans to bring down.
Fittingly, Davier Eldridge, who's one of 10 West Forsyth kids, makes the stop.
It's full circle, man.
And his brother, Davey Ells, on the defensive line.
And no Bryce Baker on the field now.
It's the Wildcat with Murray. 3rd and 2. Murray. He's got the first, and the pile moves near the 45.
And just a massive humanity.
It's a numbers game with the Wildcat in there.
Those plays right now in this game, it's about tough, it's about will, it's about want. At this point, everybody on that field is tired. And you got to dig deep to find whatever you can on those short yardage situations to get by.
Bryce Baker back in after the Riddle tractor first down, making tall grass short. From the 44. Plenty of time. Baker scrambles. He's got great legs. And Baker picks up at least 8. Nice run for Bryce.
It really is so interesting, though, because he doesn't run that much. But now in back-to-back years against West Forsyth, he's got season high in rushing yards. But it's been the adjustment. If West isn't going to respect that, they don't put that spy on him to monitor where he's going to go, and he takes off, he's going to get those yards.
Baker 400 yards last year. He's nearing 400 tonight. Back on the ground. And that's enough for the first, out to the 45 of West. The stop by Cale Vest. And with the clock situation, East might be playing for a game-winning drive.
You see both players, all those players on the field right now are tired. Down at the end of the game, conference title on the line, outright for East, a share for West. Who makes the plays?
Here's 1st and 10. Both teams 400 yards of offense. Baker, quick out. Nice catch, Gilchrist. JP with the first, gains 11.
Mix up in communication on the back, and that time Baldwin bailed. They run a zone coverage that time, and he drops all the way back. No one gets out there on Gilchrist, and he's left wide open.
Bryce Baker making things happen, 250 yards passing on his final night, senior night here at East. And that clock really plays a factor with 2:20. Right after Riley Horton went for 50 and a touchdown to tie it. Baker feeds himself. Keeper. Baker spins right at the sticks. And depends on the spot. They give him the first.
I think he was marked down yard over where that first down marker was.
If you're fans of North Carolina football, you got a big one here. Bryce Baker going to UNC next year. Put on a show.
If you're fans of football, you're in the right place. We've seen it all here tonight. Offensive highlights, defensive touchdowns.
When to use your timeouts if you're West?
You start thinking about it here around that minute 30 mark. It's the way that this East offense is driving right now. They're in full control. They're content with just running the clock down. They've got a great kicker, so they can just run it down.
Clock at 2. Timeout East. Bryce Baker, 104 yards rushing. That's been the difference in the second half.
Well, that was the difference in the game last year where they won by 10, 45-35, and took the conference title away from West Forsyth at home. That was the difference last year. It's the same thing this year. We know that Bryce Baker, the UNC commit, can throw the football, but it's been the running ability to take those moments where he has to run and make plays, and he's done exactly that here tonight.
Do you leave a game up to a kicker with a minute 30 left?
I'm running my offense. Now, if I run my offense and I find a touchdown, great, awesome. But if I'm running my offense and I pick up yards and those timeouts for West are extinguished, and I've got to leave it to my kicker, of any team, certainly within the area, East is going to be in the best position in that situation because they do have great special teams, especially when it comes to field goal kicking.
Yeah, Braden Cresimore's made a 40-yarder this year, so he's got some leg. But it's a whole lot different when you're kicking for a league title than when you're kicking just a regular on an August day in fall camp.
You always have to remember that a kick is a kick no matter what. You know, every football game is still just another football game.
It's the Wildcat now. Murray in at quarterback. Baker to the sideline. Here's Murray. Nearly tripped up. Breaks the tackle. Murray, good stop by Justin Ferguson after a gain of 8.
Tell you what.
Ooh, that clock is really starting to tick.
And Daviel Aldridge was so close to making a play in the backfield that time. but West is letting that one run down.
Entering the Cook-Reynolds red zone.
Maybe you start to think that this is the drive your defense just has to take care of business, one way or another.
2nd and 2. Murray still in at quarterback. Murray runs it. Breaks one. Murray truck stick. Murray dragging. He's short. Inside the 2. Oh my goodness, what a run.
Say if you're West, you've got to call a timeout here.
And now a whistle and the clock stops.
Boy, Jalen Murray just pushing his way, willing. Look at that, initiating the contact, being the aggressor on the run. And it's not till a slew of Titans get back there before he stops short of the goal line. Gotta have it moments like that. Jalen Murray delivers.
What an exhausting drive for East. They got the ball at the 3-minute mark and have worked almost every second.
Down at the 2, that Wildcat formation has worked so well tonight. You wonder, you got to almost kind of go with that going forward. There's no point in putting Bryce Baker in the football game if you know you're running and you're running it well out of that formation right now.
That's Xavier Crawford down for East. The good news if you're West, you have 3 timeouts. And on 1st and goal, okay, here's the question. Do you concede the touchdown? Because East, in theory, could kneel the ball twice.
We have to be honest about the situation, right? As great as Riley Horton has been here tonight, this is not a situation that plays to what they want to do. Now, here's the problem. Maybe you do because of where you are on the field. You just got to give your offense a chance to go back out there with some time left on the clock. They still have the 3 timeouts to work with at this point.
And so with the injury, Austin Fetterspiel, who's a pitcher on the baseball team, and his dad is the offensive line coach. Austin now comes in at center, the 300-pound D lineman.
Godspeed on the edge.
That's a steep learning curve right there.
Sure is. Number 98 right there in the middle of your screen.
Good to see Crawford get back up. So he'll be out for this play. All week, Kevin Wallace for West Forsyth said, we're ready. We're going to have a lead. We got to finish. Now it's East with the opportunity to get up a touchdown.
And take the lead. Under a minute left to go. Really impressive by that East sideline, not giving in. Halfway through the 3rd, it didn't seem great. Just coming off an interception, now knocking on the door of taking the lead yet again.
Bryce Baker back in the game. East figuring out who's supposed to be on the field. It's Murray and Rottweiler.
First time under center tonight.
1st and goal. Rottweiler trucked. What a hit. P.J. Dean.
Your offensive lineman, your 3-star recruit offensive lineman, flying off the football and laying the boom.
No timeout for West. Oh, clock's ticking. Baker with 20 seconds. Too many linemen on the field. And a flag. Oh, no.
Wow.
Fetterspiel. The center came back in, and there was confusion.
Unbelievable.
And how about the hit by Dean? That was Lawrence Taylor-esque. The forearm shiver.
But you've got to know, if you're Bryce Baker, you've got to know there, if you see all those guys on the field, you've got to get them, you got to call the timeout.
Oh, so East calls the timeout. Todd Willard wanted a timeout.
Man, you've got to be more aware than that. Holy cow.
Okay, so 15 seconds. This has got to be a touchdown situation, right? Unless you're playing for the kick.
Well, for East, yeah. I mean, you get the football in the end zone, and realistically, right here, even though it's 2nd down, you got to start thinking you're throwing the football. You got to put that football now in Bryce Baker's hands. There's no timeouts left. You go down inbounds. You run that risk now of not being able to get back up to the line of scrimmage and either spiking the football or running another play.
Yeah, East burned their final timeout to avoid the penalty. So the ball's at the 2-yard line.
That is huge.
Bryce Baker, one of the best players in the state, with a chance to win the Central Piedmont Conference. Second and goal. Baker lobs. It's caught! Gilchrist touchdown! Gain and a dynamic connection. Gilchrist and Baker.
You could not have had better coverage on that play. But that is a connection from quarterback to wide receiver that has worked 14 times this year, now 15 in the biggest moment.
One of the best quarterbacks in the state finds his dynamic receiver, J.P. Gilchrist. And here's an extra point, always important. Risky snap, and it's blocked. Hold on. Okay. Not over yet, 9 seconds. West timeouts, but need a miracle. A la Jaden Daniels.
Again, the football had to be in Bryce Baker's hands here. You're throwing it into the end zone or out of bounds, and what a catch, what a throw. Right over the top of Vanderlei Baldwin. You cannot have better coverage than what he had on the outside on J.P. Gilchrist, and it did not matter.
11 plays, 70 yards, and it took 4 minutes of time. So now in 9 seconds, you got to be creative here if you're West.
You just start thinking, you're hoping for a stop there, and you're saving those timeouts for your offense here. Now, you still have the 3. But if I'm East Forsyth, I'm not kicking this football into the end zone. I'm forcing them to return it.
You can fair catch it at the high school level.
You can fair catch it. But I would rather put that on the special teams and your returners to make that decision instead of automatically giving them the touchback. Are they going to have the wherewithal to call for the fair catch regardless of where that football is on the field?
What an important kick for Brady Cressamore. He goes short. And that goes out of bounds. So no time and good field position.
See, I don't know. I don't know why you squib it to the sideline.
I feel like you just kick it down the middle.
Just if you're going to squib it down the middle.
Okay, so 9 seconds. You can run one play and then throw the Hail Mary. Because the ball's at the 35.
Feasibly 1. If you are quick enough. 2. I just don't know that this offense is quick enough to run 2 plays within those 9 seconds before loading it up.
Think about Jalen Moore and Hunter Cruz, who've been electric at receiver. Riley Horton on a 5-touchdown night.
Those 3 timeouts, you can attack any part of the field here. The middle of the field might be a little softer than the sidelines.
What do you got left? Riley Horton, league championship on the line. Horton goes short. That's Cruz. The toss. Page gets out of bounds. There's time. So a first down, and you get one chance. Okay, timeout West. Take me through the strategy, Mark. We just saw this last week. Chicago Bears, Commanders.
There is no strategy. Throw the football up in the air if you are Riley Horton and let someone go make a play.
Kevin Wallace dialing up.
What you do in reference to the play between the Commanders and Bears, Commanders wide receiver Noah Brown faded back from the group on that play as the wide receiver. He ends up catching the football because it gets tipped up into the air behind the pack, and he's left all alone. So you have to have one guy who leaks out just in case that ball goes up in the air.
If West catches this and scores, they could kick a ball to win the league. It comes down to literally one play. And East with a win maintains an undefeated season and a top ranking in the state.
If I am East Forsyth, I am putting back my tallest players and a couple of wide receivers. You see right now on the field, going all the way back is Jai Richburg, 6'3" wide receiver. I want him in a jump ball situation.
Final play for West Forsyth. What has Riley Horton's arm got left? Here we go, game on the line. Horton buying time. Horton is sacked. East Forsyth wins the Central Piedmont Conference. Timor Pouncey, the final play. And man, what a football game here in Kernersville.
Neither team bowing down, bowing out. A drag-out, no-bars fight here in Kernersville. And the Titans fall short yet again to their crosstown rivals.
East Forsyth, your CPC champs. We hand out a trophy when we come back to Kernersville.
Well, Coach, a 48-42 win tonight. When your backs were against the wall, this team fought. How did you guys get the job done tonight?
You know, like I told you at halftime, we had to make some adjustments, a little gut check, challenge the players, challenge the coaches, and we came out and made just enough plays.
Now, your quarterback, Bryce Baker, making magic happen for you tonight, finding connections like our player of the game, Corey Blair, had 2 touchdowns, and then J.P. Gilchrist had that touchdown to secure the game. Just talk about the efforts that these guys put on tonight.
Just a great effort. We didn't play great tonight. That's a great team over there. We got a lot of things to clean up in the playoffs, but phase 2's over, 10-0. We're going to celebrate tonight.
An outright season title tonight. Yeah. What does this say about this group behind you as you continue to move on in the playoffs, Coach?
It's a great senior group, 3 in a row, 3 conference titles in a row, and I couldn't be prouder of these guys.
Well, we're going to present you with the trophy tonight. Congratulations on your win, and yes, congratulations on the championship. Go celebrate.
Neat moment, too. The whole staff getting involved. That's a celebration, like a deep breath. Like, hey, we made it to the end of this 10-0 season.
I think most of us have to take a deep breath after that game tonight.
And Corey Blair, our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds player of the game, 2 touchdowns and 100 yards on the ground.
Just unbelievable. Early on, really brought balance to that East Forsyth offense. The power running, the speed on the outside. great candidate for our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Player of the Game.
And then our My 48 play of the game. Game on the line, last 20 seconds. Throw it up, and Gilchrist gets it.
I mean, just phenomenal. Game winner. Go down the field, seconds left on the clock, and you got to put that ball on the money over great coverage. Absolutely masterful. Baker to Gilchrist.
And the nest goes nuts. How about a 10-0 regular season? How about that? With both teams heading to the state playoffs next week. Mark, we're in for a treat here in the 4A level.
So much good football, not just the 4A, but all across the state of North Carolina, especially within this area in the Piedmont. Just looking forward to some great football and a lot of really good teams in this area that have a great shot at going on and competing for state championships.
2-touchdown lead at half for West. East comes storming back for our Linda Turf and Tractor scoring summary. What an end to the regular season here at East Forsyth. We will see these teams and many more in the playoffs. We want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors who've made this game possible and basically this whole season possible. Capital out throughout the year for our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals broadcast. I want to thank our staff tonight. New director Marie Zamora did a great job. Cody Love on graphics, Drew Green, Adam Ryan, Eric Dowdy, Derek Brady, Mike Bullard, our cameras, and, of course, Alex on the sideline. He's always working hard down there with the cameras. Alex, our audio guy as well, and Justin Allen doing a great job with our tech. Lori Bates producing it all. Allison Aldridge, so good behind the scenes. Chris doing a great job, big Steelers fan. His team's doing well this year.
Yeah, man.
And we have some good news for you. We're back for a playoff game December 6th. We'll figure out the teams as the brackets get unfolded. But round 4, December 6th, that winner of that game will go to a region final. So it's a really big night. And, Mark, what a great regular season we've seen.
Absolutely massive. And honestly, one of the better regular seasons I think we've seen in quite some time. Again, so much good football played around the area and a lot of really good teams that have a great chance at making some noise in the playoffs. And who knows, one of them might end up with a state title.
Thanks for joining us all season and all night. We'll see you for the 4th week of the playoffs. What a great night for high school football. East versus West. And East Forsyth secures the league title. It's a presentation of My 48 Sports.
Love you, Dad.
Trust me. Shush, girl. Shut your lips. Do the Helen Keller and talk with your hips. I said, shush, girl. Shut your lips. Do the Helen Keller and talk with your hips. I said.